Arizona Sports YouTube channel.
Scorpions don't hate you. Ain't got the brains for hate. What they got is a tail full of bad intentions. Been living in this desert since the dirt was new. Think they got squatters' rights to your laundry basket.
Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control. Scorpions may have squatters' rights to the desert, but not to your property. Call 602 Blue Sky today. Real pest science, real protection. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, Scorpions.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 35 years, I've seen it all. Car crashes, work injuries, defective products, medical mistakes, lives flipped upside down in an instant. But I've also seen something else, the power of fighting back, the power of winning. Over $30 billion recovered and counting. Size matters, reputation matters, results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Arizona lawyer will handle Arizona cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
I am El Nino. No. I'm Paul Calvisi, and we don't fear the monsoons. Why? America Roofing. Yep, we hired the best, ranking Arizona's #1 rated roofing company, America Roofing. A+ with a BBB, family owned and operated. Jake, Josh, Tracy, and 500 employees statewide. Do what we did. Get started with a free inspection and save 12% at AmericaRoofingCo.com.
Hey, it's Gamble, and I'm here with Stuart Willis, the president of Asset Preservation, Wealth, and Tax. Stuart, you handle retirement planning, financial planning, tax planning. How important is estate planning to somebody's overall portfolio?
Listen, I think it's one of the most overlooked things. A lot of people say they're going to get to it eventually, and they never do. Look, I mean, here's the thing. I sometimes say I'm a bit hypocritical because I've been preaching the importance of having an estate plan and a living trust for 20 years. I just got mine done a few years ago. So a lot of you out there know they need to get it done because, look, here's the thing. Probate is not an evil process. It's just expensive and time-consuming, and it's a process you can avoid by having proper estate planning.
And especially for those of you in split families, because then you've got to divide assets among two different families. It becomes very difficult. If you want to get an estate plan as part of your portfolio, call Stuart Willis at Asset Preservation, Wealth, and Tax at 602-877-PLAN.
Investment advisory services offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisor.
QC Kinetics helps active people stay active. People like David Boardman, police officer, competitive athlete, and gym owner who trains hard almost every day.
My body's taken a lot of abuse over the years. I've had multiple knee surgeries on both of my knees. I could barely run a mile prior to going to QC Kinetics. Doctors have all told me, hey, you are going to need knee replacements.
But QC Kinetics gave David great news.
We're going to give you the opportunity to have not one, but 2 healthy knees, and we don't have to cut you open.
And after David's regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics,
since I've gone to them, I run 20, 30 miles a week. I really wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for QC Kinetics.
From knee pain to Ironman training.
It's a no-brainer.
Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics to book your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 602-837-7246 in Phoenix, Scottsdale, Peoria, and Chandler. That's 837-7246, 837-7246. Pick up the exclusive Serpientes Haboob Globe on Saturday, August 22nd, before the D-backs Reds matchup, courtesy of Estrella Jalisco. Get your tickets at dbacks.com.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for a worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD-2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
All right, here we go. Friday. Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B from Wright Toyota. And I don't know if the Diamondbacks actually solved anything yesterday or they just found a way to make everybody stop talking about them for a couple days. Ketel Marte, he is off the restricted list. He's now on the injured list. He met with Mike Hazen. Torey Lovello and his agent. It's been reported that the meeting was productive. We now know he's dealing with inflammation in his knee, his hamstring. All right, fine. That tells me why he's not playing tonight against the Reds. It still doesn't tell me why your star player didn't show up at Fenway on Monday and why seemingly nobody in the organization knew where the hell he was. So the D-backs, the question is this thing fixed now or just a Band-Aid, or say we got a playoff race and let's just move on? That could be the case because they are one game out of the wild card spot. They got Cincinnati coming in tonight. Gino Suarez is coming back wearing the other uniform. We're getting into all today. Tom Candiotti will join us. He'll be joining us in here just about 25 minutes. We'll talk to him about this bizarre week and what he saw in Boston. He'll join us here in the first hour. We'll go inside the clubhouse. Meanwhile, the Cardinals gambling story just got bigger. Ryan Gold, the suspended director of college scouting, is now under investigation in a second state, Massachusetts, his hometown. And the NFL says he leaked draft picks. His lawyer says it was his wife's $10 parlay with the girlfriend. Well, that's could be true. We'll find out. We'll discuss that. College football, 8 days away. And this morning, a federal appeals court just benched thousands of players in the class of 2022. Told 3 weeks ago they'd get a fifth year, enrolled, practice. Now they're sitting. Unless they've got their own lawyer or their own judge, then they play. So welcome to college football 2026. We'll get into that. We got a really cool East Valley story we're going to get into with Park University Gilbert, as they're giving businesses 50% off tuition. And one of their players became the first Park Gilbert baseball player to ever be drafted. We'll dive into that story a little bit later. Got the feed today. It's loaded. Scott Spreitzer will check in from Las Vegas. Packers and Broncos tonight. Hour 3, former Cardinal and Raider Lewis. We'll talk about this offensive line as they lost Chase DeSantis for the year. So we'll get into that with him. We'll talk Cards, Cowboys tomorrow at State Farm Stadium. So 3 hours, D-backs, cards, college football, NFL, gambling, lawyers, and weird stuff.
So much for a slow summer, huh, Rock? I mean, here we are a week before
Not
kickoff.
at all. It wasn't at all.
Yeah, it really wasn't. I mean, it seemed like every summer there's something going on. If you alluded to the extra eligibility, the courts getting involved, those guys that played 2022 trying to get that extra year because the current eligibility rolls from this year forward. They got shot down today for now. To your point, unless they can lawyer up real good and find another judge that'll allow them to play. The whole Ketel Marte scenario, we weren't aware of the hamstring issue. So he's got a hammy, as you mentioned, and he's got the knee swelling or inflammation. That's the $64,000 question. I think Mike Hazen will probably talk to ownership about this situation. I'm sure he'll talk to player personnel directors, all the people in reference to the still mystery of why didn't report. They can understand in reference to if it's a knee or hamstring issue, but why did you not report? It's a personal issue. And I'm sure they probably won't disclose the personal issue, but I got to tell you what, this organization, they're 2 games back of the third spot, wild card spot right now. Do you play him? Do you not play him? And what's the reaction going to be in that clubhouse? So they've got a lot to really unpack here while he's on the 10-day IL. And now he does get paid on the 10-day IL. It was not getting paid on the restricted. So now he's getting his paychecks again. This is going to be one of those dilemmas, crossroads, that if you decide not to play him the rest of the year or put him on a 15-day or another 15 or 60-day, you may have to bite the bullet, move on without him. So that organization's got a lot to deal with, and a lot of folks are watching across the league, and the Diamondback fans on top of it.
Another organization that's having problems, it continues to be the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals gambling story isn't going away. It's spreading. A second investigation has opened into former card scout Ryan Gold's alleged betting. The Massachusetts Gaming Commission is now looking into some unusual betting patterns placed in that state. And that's on top of the Arizona Department of Gaming probe that's already running. So you got one guy, you got 2 states plus the NFL. Now, the backstory for anyone who missed this in July, the NFL suspended Gold. Again, he's the director of college scouting indefinitely for violating the gambling policy for the league. The league said he provided some confidential and non-public inside info for this past draft for the Cardinals before the draft picks were announced, and that he bets parlays on NFL and college games. He's been a 13-year front office guy, promoted to college scouting in 25, and the Cards backed the league immediately. He's single employee. They made it clear that it's just him. Now, why Massachusetts? Well, he grew up there in Westwood, and he won back-to-back state titles there. He had his bachelor's and his master's from UMass. He coached there. It's his hometown. He's got his college buddies, and that's where unusual betting patterns showed up. So you can read into that any way you want. But again, his attorney says that the parlays were $10 weekly bets that his wife made with high school friends, and that he was not involved. He's a this to the NFL. And the attorney says that Gold couldn't have leaked picks because only the owner and the general manager knew that. I agree with that part of this. I am siding. I'm not buying the $10 weekly bets for his wife and high school friends. I really doubt these women are doing parlay bets on draft picks. All right, maybe who's going to win the game on Sunday, but not parlays. Come on.
Well, he's in the room on the draft, Rock, the director scout. He's there.
Okay.
So
how do you get that out?
Well, good question. That's the whole thing. Are you tech? I mean, how can you text?
That's why I don't believe him.
Yeah,
that's why I think he's going to be fine.
Get exonerated.
Yeah.
If they're the whole key here is unusual patterns. So if you're going to look at the unusual patterns, what were they here? What were they in Massachusetts? What did they show? Now, if he was texting his wife, hey, we're going to take Jeremiah Love at the third pick. If that was known like a day ahead of time, that's what they're going with. He could have said, hey, look, go to Kalshi. We're going to go with we're going to look at Jeremiah Love, the third pick. Blah blah blah. I mean, he knew ahead of time. Now the second, third, fourth picks, who knows? But if it was, he let her know allegedly, and she let other friends know and let his boys know back in Massachusetts, and they went to Kalshi. What they're looking at as far as the gaming commission is, okay, all of a sudden these hit at the most inappropriate time, and it was all on Jeremiah Love or all on whomever, Basantis, whoever it is. That's unusual pattern. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah, but where's the proof?
Well,
what's the league hasn't named a recipient. They haven't named the book that they bet on. They haven't named the dollar amount. I mean, of course, the guy's appealing. If it's nothing, they just ended this guy's career.
Yeah, whether it's true.
They definitely ended his wife's group chat bet.
Well, I would think so.
But it's just he's got bigger problems if his wife has a betting draft board.
Well, and did they specify just this draft, or has there been other scenarios that they're betting on?
All the information's been just this draft.
I think.
Seriously, come on, let's be realistic. You really think your wife is betting draft picks? Come on.
I think
there's 99% of people listening right now that bet on a daily basis don't bet draft board.
What the insinuation was when the report first came out, he filtered it to her, and she was using the information to filter to whomever. Now, if they could connect the dots, I mean, he would say, hey, honey, this is what we're looking to do. I'm going to filter these to you. You play these. I mean, of course she's not going to do it on her own. Somebody had to have prompted her, allegedly, and set her up to go ahead and do these bets. And for the guys back in Massachusetts, who are those individuals, or did she connect to the Massachusetts boys, his buddies?
So they made a bet that they were taking Jeremiah Love at number 3. Come on.
Well, we don't know.
Everybody knew that.
Well, here's the thing.
I would take. Everybody would take that bet.
Now, if there's some other bets or some other picks that they led on to,
it was Chase.
Well, it could be. You never know.
What are the chances?
Well,
all you could do is basically say, if he's director of scouting, he could say, hey, these 3 guys, any of these 3 guys, we're probably going to take if he's there at 34 or 36, whatever the pick was.
Or if he knew like ahead of time, they're going to take Basantis at number 2, and he got that information out, and then they got
number 2. It's a second round pick. You had all those picks ahead.
Yeah, I did, but I mean, if he knew ahead, like 5 minutes ahead of time, that they're taking Jason.
You really think 5 minutes beforehand, and that amount of time, You think he could get on the text and his girl and his friends are going to put that bet in?
Who knows, Rock? That's why I'm very curious to see what evidence they have as far as how they're going to connect the dots.
I don't know.
Back to him.
It seems, hey, if they get him, they get him. I mean, the Cardinals didn't back him.
No,
they didn't back their guy. They said, see you later. So that tells me, obviously, maybe there's more to it, but I can't imagine. I don't know. The part that I don't believe, I believe that, hey, he could be giving information out, but to his wife for a $10 parlay, that's the part that's
Barack, what they're insinuating is that he's filtering it to her, and then she can filter it to the other individual.
Yeah, and you can do that. You can do that in 2 minutes.
But if they
draft, you're up now. Your number's 36. The Browns just took. You're on the clock, Cardinals, and you think he could do it that quick?
I don't think NFL or the Feds would come forward with these allegations unless they were pretty sure the Feds, if they had the goods.
I never defend guys like that, but I'm hoping I hope he gets off on this. I hope he's not in any trouble.
Well, I will say this: if he's guilty,
I mean, I don't know who he is. I just think it's just stupid.
Well, they're saying, hey, look, if anybody would know who the draft pick would be, the scouting director. He'd be the guy that'd say, bingo.
He would know what guys, but it's a crapshoot who's available at number 38 or 40, whatever the pick they want.
That would be the question: how quickly could
would you agree with that, Manuch?
Well,
how would you know? All he could do is say, these are the 3 guys. If any of these 3 guys are available, this is it. If all 3 are available, we're definitely taking Chase first. Okay, if these 3 are available. Other than that, you don't know what the Browns. He doesn't know what the Browns are picking before him.
And I would say this: how quickly could he text?
Exactly.
Once they're on the clock.
There's got to be more to the story that we don't know.
Yeah, and I think more will come out. If not, to your point, if he gets exonerated, it's like, okay, now his career is ruined. You let him go.
His wife's group bet's over.
You didn't back him.
His wife's parlay board's done. That sucks.
I would say so.
She can't win that $10. All right, Tori Lavello on what Ketel Marte has to say to the clubhouse and how he's going to manage this team, or did manage this team this week. He was on MLB radio a couple hours ago. We're going to bring some of that to you next in our replay rewind. Just getting started. It's Roc Manuch and Jimmy B here on ESPN Radio Phoenix. We're on 98.7 FM HD-2, YouTube, the Arizona Sports app. And again, we are live at Wright Toyota.
Living in the Valley of the Sun means we're always battling the heat on the golf course, at work, or just getting through the day. To stay sharp, you need more than energy. You need hydration. You need Phoenix Hydration Energy, spelled Phoenix, like the city we love. Phoenix gives you clean, natural energy from green tea, plus 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. No crash, no junk, just pure performance. Grab Phoenix Hydration Energy today at 7-Eleven, Quick Trip, or Circle K. Phoenix Hydration Energy. Rise up.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Lace up for a great cause. Join the 33rd annual Frank Cush Youth Foundation on Saturday, October 10th at Tempe Beach Park during the Four Peaks Oktoberfest. Every step helps support youth athletics, including girls flag football, Lady Hawk softball, the Frank Cush Scholarship at ASU, Tempe Sister Cities, and kids throughout our community. Register, donate, or volunteer today at Oktoberfest.run. That's Oktoberfest.run. Run. Give back, make a difference.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Hey there, folks. If you're buying or selling equipment, ride the way.
Makes it easy to sell.
Easy to buy. Construction, ag, fleet, and government equipment. All no reserve. All online.
All online.
Cruise on over to purplewave.com and get in the groove today.
It's time for our replay rewind. Top sounds of the night. Whatever Rock decides to add. Let's get to it in Replay Rewind with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD-2.
All right, Troy Lovello was on MLB Radio a few hours ago. Laz cut up some sound for us. Both Manuch and I have not heard this sound yet, so we want to pass this on to you. But this is first. Here's Torey on the meeting that they had yesterday. I believe it was like around 1 o'clock at Salt River Fields with Marte, Mike Hayes, the general manager, and Marte's agent.
What has to be said in your mind?
Just that. I'm sorry, and we put everything on the table, and we were talking about the process and what it's going to take to get him back on the field, and I'll leave it at that. I thought it was a very productive meeting. Mike ran points on it. I thought he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, that's basically, he was asked what Marte needs to basically tell the clubhouse, tell the team. And that's basically what Torey just said. And then on how Torey is navigating this situation.
Yeah, that's been a great challenge. You know, this was a whole new space for me. And, you know, just was relying on my instincts and what to do for the 26 players that were present and going out there for 3 days in Boston. You know, this one definitely caught me by surprise. And you're right. I want to manage young men. That's my job, to manage young men on and off the field. And it's very, very important to me to make sure they're doing things right in both areas. You know, parents send their children to me and they're 18, 20, 25. And I want to hold their standard, and I want to raise them the best way that I can. So they leave the organization or this game a better person.
I can respect some of what he just said, but this isn't a daycare center. These are professional athletes making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they need to be accountable. And you know, if you tell Marte is not a child, he's an adult, a multi-billionaire that has his issues. And you know, it's unfortunate that's the role of a manager these days in big league baseball.
I think you're right, Rock. It's not like back in the day, guys showed up with pros all day and night.
Imagine if this was Tony La Russa or Tommy Lasorda, or gosh, we could go way back, and you know, some of these old time skippers, you know, that would just, they'd fire his butt right up and just say, get your ass in here, and you're playing and you're starting second base. I don't care if you got some issues. You know, let's go.
Well, the biggest thing is that for not being accountable, responsible to contact the club. As I told you yesterday, we had Renee Latchman on, former skipper for the Mariners and Marlins and the Rockies, and that was his tone. He said, "Hey, look, we know everybody's got issues and problems, but if you don't report or at least tell somebody or just show up and deal with that time, it's not even old school. It should be new school too. That there's got to be consequences."
Yeah.
And I think you really heard that first clip that Lovello was really guarded about what he was saying. There's a process of what we do, and this is where we have to do it, because I've got 26 other guys in that clubhouse that I'm accountable to that are watching this. They're watching this. And he didn't really say that they're tired of it, or he didn't really say anything to the effect that at some point we've got to move on. He was very temperate, but I thought what he said was loud and clear. I've got to raise these guys whether I want to or not. Everybody's accountable. There's a process of what we do. And he didn't say if that process isn't followed, then there's got to be consequences. I think he tempered himself there too.
Yeah, there's there's something missing that we all know.
There's
something huge out there. I mean, this isn't, the MRI, of course, showed some inflammation in his upper hamstring, in his knee joint. He received an injection. He's eligible to return the end of the month when they play Philly. You could have had that MRI in Boston.
Exactly. Like Arenado had his MRI.
I mean, all this
Boston.
injury does is explains why he's not playing today. It does not explain why he failed and to show up and to communicate.
Yeah, and I think that, that from that standpoint, if the personal issue was something that he couldn't handle that day, phone calls, communication would have cured that. And then when he got home, whatever that personal issue is, because if I'm Mike Hayes, I'm like, okay, what's the deal? What's going on? What is it you had Monday that you couldn't communicate, or at least show up and us deal with it that day? So it's really odd. It's like, what are you hiding here, Cattell? I mean, what is it that we need to know? Because here's the thing, Ron. You don't want something to come back and bite him in the rear end 2 or 3 weeks with this personal issue. If it's something with another person or whatever it could be, you don't want this to come back and haunt him. Because I think what Mike Hazen said is, look, if we put you on the 10-day IL, we got to get your hammy and your knee right. What are some of the other things we need to know, Cattell, that doesn't rear its ugly head again, that you go 10 days, you come back, and whammo, something else, the other shoe drops somewhere else.
Or if there is something that the Diamondbacks can help him with.
Sure, exactly. Yes.
Something, that we're not hearing.
Yeah, and if you hide whatever, and it comes back to bite you in the butt, it bites us in the butt too. And I think that's what Torrey was saying. I've got 26 other guys in there. We're trying to keep a team thing. We sympathize with whatever, but in the meantime, we've got to move forward because there is accountability, responsibility. And by the way, you need to apologize like you did last year after your 3 days back to the All-Star break.
All right, Cowboys and Cardinals tomorrow at State Farm Stadium. The question every August: who's actually playing? Here's the coach, Matt LaFleur, on what you'll see from the starters and how long.
Jacoby will not be playing. So, following suit with the offensive line and stuff like that. So I don't want to say that all quote unquote starters, because we don't have our starters yet per se. I mean, obviously I'm not going to sit here and say we don't know who's going to be our left tackle and who's going to be our, our center and stuff like that. But it's not like 22 guys are going to be sitting out. There's going to be guys that are going to be out there on day one that are going to be starters that will be playing in this game. But Jacoby will not. Gardner will be starting, and we'll take it from there. Probably a half a ball for Gardner, if not getting into the third quarter, just depending on the flow of the game.
And it sounds as though, in reference to him playing the half, that being Gardner Minshew, and going to the third quarter, I would probably Keaton Slovis would come in after that, finish the game out. But because they'd mentioned yesterday that Carson Beck, the ribs are still sore, no need to put him out there. But hey, for Keaton Slovis, take advantage of the situation. The Desert Mountain High School kid, Laz's supposed good buddy that we haven't heard from in the last 2 years since Laz has been working here. So I think he gets the majority of the reps, because if they don't keep him, he'll have some good tape if they do release him, for a lot of other clubs to take a good look at him in these preseason games.
So we'll get into this big college story. It keeps changing in regards to the players going back or not going back to college. But here's where the chaos lands in here in Phoenix, and that has to do with Wyatt. Is it Wyatt? Is that how you say his name? Wyatt. Wyatt.
Yep.
You sure?
Yeah. Wyatt Williams.
Wyatt Williams. He may leave. He might leave an NFL roster and go back to college. Does his own head coach even? Here's
They haven't spent 2 cents with that as of now. I just know that he's done a good job, for us so far. So this is going to be wild how all this plays out. And again, when did this all come out? Like 24 hours ago, something like that. And I heard there's other guys on other clubs and stuff like that. So, not too sure. I know this Jacoby's not going to get another year of eligibility. He'll be with us along with Trey and all those guys.
Picture it. The guy next to you in the locker room could be in a dorm next week. Here's Buda Baker on what that's like for players actually in the building.
I heard about that. So yeah, we were joking about it a little bit in the DB room. That's cool. You know, it's hard to comment on it. You know, I've just never heard of that, but that's definitely something cool that he has a possibility of doing.
Yeah, and again, just to kind of rehash this again, 3 weeks ago, a federal judge in Colorado told every athlete who started college in 2022, you get a fifth year. You know, that's they're enrolled. They'll be in pads for 3 weeks. Now, this morning, 8 days before kickoff, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals hit pause, a 2-1 decision out of Denver that the fifth year is suspended until an expedited appeal is heard. So there's a bunch of players now are benched, and it's just nuts. I mean, this players who got their own state court injunction are still eligible though. That's the interesting part. So the 16 football players, you know, that Louisiana judge cleared to leave the NFL, still play. You know, there's some other loopholes with some other players. There's a kid from Indiana. There's a kid from Tennessee. So there's attorneys making some big-time money on this.
Yes.
But, you know, the root cause of this whole thing is the NCAA wrote a new law, or rule, I should say, in June. 5 years to play 5 seasons and refused to grandfather in the class standing right in front of them.
Exactly.
One sentence could have prevented all of it. It's just a mess. So the NCAA won the morning in court right now, but it's going to lose the year.
Yeah, I wonder if this even gets riled up to the Supreme Court before that's all said and done. I think this thing is just a mess. I like the rule: 5 years, you're done. Now, maybe to prevent, as you mentioned, these headaches, they should have grandfathered and said, if you got it fifth year, hey, we'll let it slide this year, and that's it.
All right, today's Replay Rewind is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe. Interact, need a check, just make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. And always at lernerandrowe.com. All right, nobody inside of D-backs will say why Ketel Marte didn't show up on Monday. Derek Hall called it a complete mystery. Tom Candiotti has been in a bunch of clubhouses over the years. Of course, he is an analyst, does radio and television for the D-backs. We'll catch up with him. But first, here's Laz with the sports update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs kick off a 3-game weekend set at Chase Field tonight as they welcome the Cincinnati Reds to town. Eduardo Rodriguez will get the start for the Snakes as first pitch is set for 6:40 with pregame coverage getting underway at 6 on 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. And in the NFL, the Cardinals are preparing for their preseason home opener Saturday night as they welcome the Dallas Cowboys to town for their third preseason game of the season. This Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B Sports Update is powered by Twin Peaks. Football season starts at Twin Peaks, your ultimate sports lodge. Get your league together and host your fantasy football draft party at your local lodge. The commissioners will get a $50 Twin Peaks bounce back card. Cold drinks, made from scratch food, wall-to-wall TVs, and everything that you need for draft day.
Fight Night is back. The only place to catch every punch, kick, and knockout is Twin Peaks. Settle in with scratch-made favorites, legendary wings, and 29-degree drafts that hit colder than a heavyweight takedown. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you won't miss a moment. Grab your crew and make it a fight night to remember. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Arizona. Get ready for live music and golf under the lights. Saturday, September 12th, Yellow Jacket Overtime takes over grass clippings in Tempe. See Arizona native and national recording artist Sydney Bird live at 6:30. GA and VIP tickets, private seating, and night golf foursomes are available. Plus, every ticket supports Arizona classrooms through Wishes for Teachers. Yellow Jacket Overtime, September 12th. Tickets at yjovertime.com.
This September, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B are live Fridays at DraftKings Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale for the Friday Football Lock-In. Pick 5, take the call-in challenge, and win cash. Fridays 1 to 4, only on ESPN Phoenix 620.
Now open in North Scottsdale. It's the Orangedale Lounge. ODs. Right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at orangedalelounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
Living and having fun in the hot summer sun can turn deadly when mixed with stimulants. Stimulant drugs raise body temperature, impair the brain's ability to regulate heat, and makes it harder for the heart to cope with extreme heat. Studies show 1 in 5 heat-related deaths have involved meth, a stimulant that overheats the body, putting users at higher risk. Be aware and stay safe. Meth and heat is a deadly mix. Visit thenewmeth.com.
Sponsored by the Substance Awareness Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Live streaming audio, podcasts, video highlights, and D-backs play-by-play.
Carroll's got to move on his way back to the track to the fence, and he makes the catch right against the fence.
Download the Arizona Sports app, presented by Ready Services Plumbing and Air Conditioning.
Ball. I mean, that ball, he sees it, it's in the middle of the plate at one point, and then see you later.
The Candyman, 2-2. Broken bat, little pop off, down for a base hit. What a break for the Diamondbacks as Moreno scores, and Arenado gives the D-backs a 6-5 lead. Oh, that's the best rejoining the business. Tom Candiotti joins us now here on the Right to It Against sign here on ESPN Radio 620. How we doing, Tom? What's going on, man? How's your day?
We are doing great, man. How's it going?
Doing good, doing good. It's been an interesting week, and you were in Boston for this whole thing, and from the moment nobody could find Ketel Marte on Monday, what were you guys doing up in the booth?
We were playing Where's Waldo? we didn't know what was going on. And, we're trying to get our lineups in and stuff. We'd already been down and talked to Torrey, and you knew that his locker was undisturbed. No clothes were in there or anything like that. So none of us really knew anything at all. And I think Torrey was just kind of holding out hope that he was going to show up and stick him in the lineup, I guess. I'm not quite sure what was going on actually, but I know we couldn't get the lineups in, and then, it got to the point where okay, so what's going on? And then here we are.
I can imagine, Tom, how rare that is to somebody dang near 20, 30 minutes before you put him in the lineup. And the mystery is, okay, is he okay? He won't communicate. I'm sure they sent somebody to the hotel. I know Derek Hall was at the hotel to go and rap on his door and check on him. But that is the most unusual scenario I've ever heard, aside from Pascal Perez back in 1985, circling on I-85 for half an hour and missed his start because he couldn't find the off-ramp to the Atlanta Braves Stadium.
Yeah, I remember that too. Geez. Back in the day when I was a member with the Dodgers, we had the same kind of scenario with Darryl Strawberry. And sorry about my dog in the background barking at the TV. but the same thing happened with Darryl Strawberry, where he just all of a sudden didn't show up, and we didn't know what was happening with him. What happened to him? He's our right fielder, and it got to the point in our locker room that and it was happening a lot where he wasn't there on time for stretching, wasn't doing this, wasn't here for that, and that got to the point where no one even wanted to hear from him anymore. I don't think it's like that with Ketel. I think that's going to be between him and his teammates. He's going to have to address them at some point. because, he hung them out to dry. And, they got to figure something out between, to get to a common ground, I'm guessing. At least back in our day, that's kind of what happened. I'm not sure how it goes today, but, you got to make it right with your teammates. And, so there's probably some hard conversations ahead.
Well, Tom, this is the third time. A couple of years ago, with a week to go, he just decided he's not going to play. Last year, he's gone for 3 days unannounced after the All-Star game, and then this. I mean, kind of like the kid that cried wolf. Third time, it's 3 strikes you're out type of thing. But to your point, you just go, okay, if this rears its ugly head again, which we hope it doesn't, there's got to be some kind of major consequence. And I got to imagine that front office, ownership involved, Derek, Hayes, and Lavello are trying to game plan how they move forward next step.
100%. I know they're, it's like all damage control now. And all right, how are we going to make this right? And how are we going to get everyone on the same page and all that? And it's a tricky deal for Torrey, who was really kind of walking on both sides of the fence there. I think, first of all, he was trying to, make sure that everything was okay with Cattell and, at least physically and all that stuff. And then it got to the point where, well, yeah, maybe something's up with him. Maybe, he's having some problems. And so they need to find out what those are so they can deal with them and hopefully rectify them, moving ahead. But again, there's probably so much that goes on that I don't know, that, you guys don't know. Not a lot of people know other than, Torrey and Hazen and Cattell himself.
Roc and Manuch, Tom Candiotti here on ESPN Radio 620. Tom, managers are different now. I think everybody loves Torrey. He's such a good guy, a really nice guy, and he truly cares about his players. How do you think this would have gone down if it's Earl Weaver or Billy Martin or somebody like that when it comes to a player not showing up? Or Sparky Anderson, yeah.
Oh, man, not good. Yes, not good. It's a different, like I said, it's a different time, and back in the day, even when I played, and actually those guys were actually managing when I played. Jeez,
I know. Really that's why I brought him up. That's why I brought him up. But Tommy Lasorda, yeah.
Yeah, and, there's, managers weren't like your best friend back then, and, you kind of wanted to make sure you never saw the manager that day, actually. Of course, we weren't allowed to go into the training room back then either, so, it's just it's a different thing, and now, I think it's evolved to the point where, they're trying to get everyone feeling great and feeling good about themselves so they can perform better and all that stuff instead of walking on eggshells like we had to do. So, I think they're just trying to fix them, trying to find out, identify what the problem is, number one, and then do what they can to try to help him be, successful. And, if they can't, and they got to cross that bridge at that time, I'm guessing.
So, Tom, you mentioned Darryl Strawberry, and you've had a situation where something's gone dark with a player or whatever. What happens in that clubhouse? I know, are you angry? Are you worried? Or do you guys just stop talking about it and you just play? How do you think these players are going to react to this or are reacting?
Yeah,
it look good.
It's a tough one. It's tough. It's tough on the players because, you're kind of a band of brothers down there and, where everyone, you're all in this together for like the longest time. It's like a big family down there. And, just like you or I, hey, I have some brothers and sisters I love, and every once in a while I want to punch their lights out, so I think what's going to happen is that he's going to have to address the team because that team has got to be upset with him. They got to be upset with, someone that doesn't show up, and kind of they feel like they've probably been let down. And so they want to hear from Cattell. And so at some point, Cattell's going to have to, he's going to have to address that. And then we'll see how that goes.
How do you think it affects the Boston series? I mean, Boston just
especially
went
the Monday
down.
game. Yeah, the Monday game, they were out of sorts.
Oh man, it was like no one knew what was going on. It's like here you are, you just gained some momentum. You win 2 out of 3 in Atlanta, and you're marching to Boston. It's going to be another tough series against a really good team. And you can't afford not to be at your optimal best. When you're going up against guys like that, a team like that, and clearly just watching the way they played, misplaying fly balls, just pop-ups that all of a sudden are falling in or not caught, and it was just like a disaster. And they played like very uninspiring baseball.
I'm curious, Tom, in the booth, during breaks, so you guys just, rolling your eyes and saying, dude, what's going on out there? I mean, I can, you're right. It was bad baseball.
Yeah. I know we were all trying to figure out what it was. I think, it's really hard when you got this momentum going, and then all of a sudden, it gets deflated like that. And even us up in the booth, we're not the players. We're not doing all that, but you can certainly see how it's, at least looks to be from the booth, affecting the play on the field. And of course, it's easy to kind of pinpoint that. Should it? No, it shouldn't. These guys are good. They shouldn't let anything affect them when they go out there. And, it's always, you've probably read a million times, all your problems go away when you step between the white lines, and that's kind of in your little area where it's like, this is my spot. This is my happy zone. But when one of your guys in there, all of a sudden you feel let down, then it just feels like, maybe the energy level wasn't there. But again, that's all speculation, that's just from a view from the booth. But, the real matter is how Cattell is and how the teammates are going to perceive him, when he does come back to address the team.
And I got to also say that Wednesday game, winning in extra innings, really helped boost that coming home, I imagine, Tom. I mean, you look at Nolan Arenado getting the game-winning hit in the 10th inning. And how fortunate was it to have Jose Fernandez up to plug him in at third base and flip Nolan to DH in that Wednesday game?
Yeah, I mean, that was huge to be able to have that. Well, they do that beforehand, that Nolan, got hurt himself in Atlanta, that you could see, when he went around first base there, he hurt something in his, his ab section. So, you knew something was going on there. But, yeah, it was great that, he had a little experience early in the year, and you could plug him in, and in a venue like Boston, to really come through and get a couple big knocks. That was huge.
And speaking of, they got the series, you got Cincinnati coming in. They've lost 6-10. You deal with Patel, you move forward, and then you got the Cubbies. I mean, it is the proverbial go time, as we like to say in football time, that not every game, every inning is going to matter from here on out.
It certainly is. You're one game behind the Padres right now, and you're kind of fighting for your life to get into the playoffs. And it looks like you separated a little room between, the Pirates and the Marlins and stuff. But you have you got to get in, and so you're going to have to play good ball and hopefully get a little bit of help. But that's it's go time, like you said, all the way. You got to win all these series. It's going to be tough with the Reds. It's going to be tough with the Cubs. And hopefully you can go on the road and take care of business against San Fran, and then you got the Phillies. So it's not going to be an easy one.
And I loved your comment, Brandon Fott. I listened to you guys. He's human. Every once in a while, he gives up a couple base hits. But, Tom, I got to tell you, for 7 starts there before that game, that he was absolute money.
Without a doubt, man. I love watching him pitch. Always have. And I just love to see how his evolution of really utilizing his fastballs more, getting away from the sweeper mostly, and going more change up. He's trying to change his repertoire a little bit. And then in Boston, all of a sudden he came back and he was sweeper heavy again. And he was like getting a lot of strikeouts. A couple of those guys just really the right-handed hitters had no idea with the sweeper, especially Rafaela. And so he's learned now that he's got this arsenal of pitches, and now he doesn't have to pitch the same way start after start after start because, hitters are smart. Scouts are smart. They're going to see what he's doing. And so when you can change it up and you have the arsenal to be able to change it up, that's how you can stay one step ahead. And that's what Fox is learning how to do. And he's doing a great job.
Last one, Gabby Moreno. He has been a firecracker. We're going on 6 weeks now, Tom. Is that what you mentioned today? He's been hot for 6 weeks. Now hitting 307 on a consistent basis.
He's been unbelievable. I mean, now it's like you're just hoping, like, all right, maybe we'll get something out of Gabby. And now, he has been so good that, he's pounding the ball with slug. Extra base hits galore, RBIs galore. It's just not the little base hits to right field that he was doing early on. And now he's becoming a force up there. And I think, there's only one guy in the National League with a higher average. Is that qualifies? And that's, I think, a rise, maybe, or something like that. He's in the top couple. He's got a chance to actually lead the National League in hitting. Think of that as a catcher.
Yeah.
The last time I think I saw anyone like that was when I was teammates with Piazza, a guy like that. So that's what you're talking about. And, so, man, he is electric. So if you get him and Corbin, keep hitting the ball, and then you start getting, with Perdomo getting on base, well, things are starting to happen offensively there. I think Tawa has been really, really a nice little story. He's quietly doing his job underneath the radar, getting some big hits for him. Arenado is really having a resurgence this year. There's a lot of good storylines on this team, and it looks like they're all coming together as soon as they figure this other stuff out.
Yeah, the other stuff out. That's just
Stuff is correct.
Oh, the drama.
That's the big thing in the locker room, right?
Yeah, jeez. Well, Candy, thank you so much on the game day. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the time.
You got it. I'll talk to you guys later.
You got it. Tom Candiotti, D-backs radio analyst. You can follow him on Instagram at Tom Candiotti. Hey, football is back, as we all know. You can join us the first game of the season, Wednesday, September 9th. We will be live at the DraftKings Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale. Play, predict, score. We're going to have gift cards, vouchers, DraftKings. No purchase necessary, no bet required. We're going to kick off the season right. That will be at DraftKings Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale. All right, we're going to get into a little college football next. Kicks off next week. Good luck figuring out what you're watching, but we got some interesting storylines we're going to pass along next as we continue on from Right Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B here on ESPN Radio 6.1.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Hey, it's Jimmy B. Football season is here, and there's never been a better time to grow your business. Partner right now with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. With live endorsements, show sponsorships, featured segments, remote broadcasts, and so much more. YouTube, social media, and commercials, all built around your goals and your budget. Visit rocandmanuch.com and click advertise. Let's grow your business together.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is bad enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a lowball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers deliver more air for less money. They're rust-free and backed by more than 40 years of experience keeping you cool. Available now online at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. Shipped to the store or right to your door. Visit staycool-products.com. Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube. Get yours today with free shipping and beat the heat. Make Azul Bar and Grill your new favorite hangout. Sing along with live karaoke, Play bingo, catch the best local bands, or challenge your friends in the game room. Add great food, a fun atmosphere, and a place where everyone feels welcome. And you've got good times waiting at Azul, located at 3134 West Carefree Highway in Tremonto Plaza. See daily events and specials at azulgrill.com.
Life can throw a lot your way. For some, that includes first episode psychosis or FEP. It can feel overwhelming, like hearing or seeing things that aren't there, or feeling disconnected from reality. The good news? FEP can be treated. Recovery can include medication, therapy, and support from peers. There are programs across Arizona with people who understand and are ready to walk with you. It all starts with one click. Visit learnmorefep.org. Sponsored by MacForce, working to build healthier communities.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B want to take you back. A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Now, time for your Right Toyota on this day report. Right Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Right Toyota in Scottsdale.
All right, back in 96, Kurt Schilling, 5 years before he helped win a World Series right here in Phoenix, faced the minimum 28 batters in a 2-hit shutout of the Dodgers. 12 strikeouts. And a rookie third baseman named Scott Rowland hit his first 2 big league home runs in the same game, both off of Nomo. Remember Nomo?
Nomar. Yeah. Yeah, that was
a couple stars there. How about that? What else do we have? The first Little League World Series, 1947 on this day. And Raleigh Fingers becomes first pitcher in history. 300 career saves. Pretty cool stuff.
that big mustache coming at you on the mound. What a phenomenal pitcher he was.
There you have it on this day. Brought to you by Right Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Right Toyota in Scottsdale. That's where we're broadcasting today. College football starts next week. The biggest story is maybe happening off the field. As first, the eligibility is a full-blown mess. The NCAA passed a 5 years to play 5 rule, but refused to grandfather in the class of 2022. That triggered lawsuits in Colorado, Ohio, Louisiana, and beyond. On July 31st, a federal judge gave the entire class a 5th year. This morning, the 10th Circuit stayed that ruling 2-1 to thousands of players who enrolled, practiced, and were told they were good to go are benched 8 days before kickoff. Unless they got their own state court order like somebody here in Arizona. But the 16 players that Louisiana judge cleared to leave the NFL camps, including the Cardinals rookie safety, Whitehead Williams, still play. So there's a 2-tier system here. The guys with the lawyers play, and the guys who trust the federal ruling suit. So expect a flood of state filings. It's nuts.
And to start those games next week, they better get after it. To see any kind of state. Now, the only thing I can see, Rock, is that this ruling came out of Colorado. If it goes to the state Supreme Court in Colorado, and they're looking to rule on this, and they go ahead and agree with the district court, the 2-1 ruling, then the state would basically the state Supreme Court would basically rule there. Now, some people said, well, this thing can go all the way up to the Supreme Court. Well, the Supreme Court, like many other situations, will always go back to the state Supreme Courts that are out there to see what their final ruling was before they agree on anything. To your point, this thing's a mess. It really is a mess, and they're going to have to scramble to see who can play and who can't play.
Advertising has arrived on college uniforms. We'll see that schools can now sell jersey patches. Crypto companies, AI businesses, other types of sponsors. Big 12 already has a conference-wide $20 million deal with Monster Energy, and I'll have something more on that in the feed later, as doctors are a little pissed off about it. Pac-12 is officially back. Yes, Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State, Utah State, Colorado State, Texas State, all join Oregon State and Washington State. And then the Mountain West rebuilt themselves a little bit. They added a couple programs in UTEP and North Dakota State. Bottom line, college football now has professional salaries. We know these $100 million buyouts now with some of these big time coaches like James Franklin at Virginia Tech, Matt Campbell at Penn State, Lane Kiffin, of course, at LSU. Got a story about him a little bit later as well. and then the free agency and the corporate advertising, but still no commissioner, no collective bargaining agreement. Apparently, no consistent set of freaking rules. You know, they just, and here we are, 8-9 days away.
Yeah, it's to your point, you just described professional sports without a commissioner.
What it is.
It's what it is. As a matter of fact, on top of that, you've got a lot of players that are leaving who got paid on their NIL, transferring to another school, that they're getting sued. As a matter of fact, another kid is getting sued today for moving because they want their money back. So it is NFL minor leagues at its finest without a commission.
Hey, we're back Monday Night Football at Biggs American Bar and Grill in Peoria. Great for preseason action, regular season, and perfect place to host your fantasy football draft. All at Biggs. Ice cold drinks, loaded burgers, wall-to-wall TVs, just off the 101 at 83rd Avenue in Bell. You can hit them up at BiggsPeoria.com. We're doing the roll for dough for $25,000 at halftime on every Monday night game. All right, great story for Park University. We're going to tell you about that coming up next. We'll also have sports handicapper Scott Spreitzer, Bill Lewis a little bit later. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. We're out here at Wright Toyota, Roc and Manuch, ESPN Radio 620.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Looking for a new ride? Make the right choice. Ride Honda in Scottsdale. Whether you're shopping for a fuel-efficient Civic, a family-friendly CRV, the rugged Passport, or the all-new Accord, Ride Honda has the selection, value, and customer service Arizona drivers trust. Plus, their experienced service team is here long after the sale. Visit the showroom on Scottsdale Road just south of Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard or shop anytime at RightHonda.com. That's RightHonda.com, where Arizona drives Right Honda.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. eats, drinks, and scenic views.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. The insurance company's job is to pay you as little as possible. Our job is to get you every dollar you deserve. Call Rowe today and let's make them pay. Call 977-1900.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers deliver more air for less money. They're rust-free and backed by more than 40 years of experience keeping you cool. Available now online at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. Shipped to the store or right to your door. Visit staycool-products.com. Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube. Get yours today with free shipping and beat the heat.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
All right, Roc Manuch with you, ESPN Radio, 620 out here at Right to It today. Scott Spreitzer from Doc Sports will join us here in about 28 minutes. Bill Lewis as well. Many of you may not have heard of a university, Park University. It opened in Gilbert in 2018. It's a private, nonprofit, four-year university, an NAIA athletic program. They play and they train out at the Arizona Athletic Grounds. They're the Buccaneers. They got a really cool logo. And joining us to kind of talk a little bit about a player that just got drafted by the Detroit Tigers, as well as something that I think many of you will be able to benefit from. And joining us now is the Associate Vice President of the Park University Gilbert campus, and that's Benjamin Sievers, who joins us now. What up, Benjamin? What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Hey, how are y'all? Thanks so much. Appreciate you taking a couple minutes. I'm glad I could be here today.
Oh, this is great. Well, so, you've been there since 2018, the university has. For somebody hearing about Park Gilbert for the first time, what is like the university's mission and who's your typical student athlete?
Yeah. So really easily, really simply, our mission is to transform lives. And so we kind of do that by focusing on things that are really going to matter to students, things that kind of impact their real life, their real learning, and their real experiences that happen every day. So our typical students right now, we're 75% athletics. And so we've been building up our sports teams for quite some time. Really enjoyed that as folks have come through. We're really geared towards folks who are looking for kind of a small, personalized experience, something that really is, a classroom where you're not at 300. Classrooms, all our typical classroom sizes are about 15 to 16. And so you really get that personalized attention while being able to play your sport or engage with kind of learning at your own pace. We've got online options and on ground too. So it's been perfect as we've embraced our sports experience, because we have folks who travel a little bit. And so them being able to complete coursework online has really been nice.
Ben, KJ Ward, first Buccaneer baseball player selected in the draft. This Detroit 9th round. What does that achievement mean to a young athletic program like obviously the Park University?
Yeah, it's huge for us. We've been very excited about KJ and Coach Danette and being able to work through. We're starting to see some real fruits to the labor that our coaches are putting in every day, and that labor of love. But especially, being able to see KJ go and being able to be drafted by the Tigers has been huge. The program really does show that you don't have to come from kind of these NCAA schools in order to have some big, meaningful success. And we really love the story that KJ is writing, and that Park has helped him achieve as he's been focused on, academics and athletics through the East Valley.
Ben, it's interesting. He wasn't drafted like the 99th round. He was drafted in the 9th round. That's what's impressive about that.
That's huge. There's a lot there.
Let me ask you, Ben, this Gilbert Advantage Scholarship, I can't believe you're offering 50% off tuition. So who qualifies for this, and and what does someone need to do to receive it?
Yeah, I appreciate that. As we've been focused on kind of figuring out where is Park's place in the East Valley, right? And where are we at from a private educational institution? How do we help get Park to no longer be kind of a secret in the East Valley? We've been really focused on what's local. And so local is kind of our home-based operations out of Gilbert and the Heritage District. So we've launched recently this year the Gilbert Advantage Scholarship. So that's 50% off our tuition. And anybody can qualify if they're a permanent resident in Gilbert, if they are a Gilbert business owner, or if they're employed by a Gilbert-based business. And so it's really focused on connecting with folks that are in our backyard to give them a great academic experience at a price where folks can actually afford going to college. We know that college is increasingly expensive.
So what could that mean in actual savings for a student over the course of them earning their degree?
Yeah, sure. So, for some folks, right, as they've come through this, so a grad student now at this rate, so if you take graduate programs, you can get in just your entire degree under $20,000. If you're an undergraduate student, you can walk all 4 years for basically under $60,000, which is unheard of. As folks have come through. So it's been a big deal. It means that a lot of our folks don't have to take out loans. They can pay out of pocket. And it means that many folks are actually, return on investment that you might get. Sometimes, I've got lots and lots of friends who I've worked with who have, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in student loans. And so we don't want to contribute to that. We want to make sure people can afford the experience that will help them transform their own lives.
So, Ben, if I'm a stud baseball playing for the Gilbert High School Tigers over there, obviously I'm a Gilbert resident, and I'm going to get a chance to go over there and get a scholarship. I get the 50% discount. Now, is there some money to give me as close to a full scholarship as possible on baseball?
Yeah, so right now, the way we're operating on that is it's going to be just the Gilbert Advantage Scholarship, but what you will benefit is from coaches' expertise in that, and there won't be any extra dollars right away. That could change down the line, but at the immediate moment, we're doing, 50% get the Gilbert residents here and have them have coaches and have a different opportunity for local kids to compete at a level.
I was going to say that if you got a kid from, you're recruiting outside the district, say Chaparral or Saguaro, or you're going to Glendale. If you got that basketball player, soccer player, or baseball player that's an outstanding wants to come to Park, there is some potential for financial aid to bring them over.
100%. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So there are some opportunities for financial aid if you're not in the district in order to make things affordable as they're working through it. And so for us, kids that really can't afford college, we're doing everything we can at Park University to help put together a package, whether that's in this scholarship or in other scholarships or in financial aid packages. We have all kinds of stuff that we want to do to help make sure that college is affordable. That might be some athletic scholarships, right? But really it's about crafting those pieces to make sure that the student understands and the parents, the families understand, we're here to make it affordable for you. So, we've got lots of unnamed competitors, right? We might offer you $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in scholarship. What they don't do is take a look at what the total out of pocket is for the student, right? How much are you going to pay on a daily basis? I can give you $50,000 on a $100,000 bill, right? And you're still going to pay $50,000, right? And so Park is really focused on helping make sure that our aid is making sure the college is affordable.
We're visiting with Ben Siebers, Associate Vice President at Park University, Gilbert. I got to ask you, because Ben, the other hat that I wear, and I want to talk athletics. What has the Arizona Athletic Grounds? How has that helped Park Gilbert and their teams? The access to a big sports campus like that. What has that meant when it comes to recruiting and the student athlete experience?
Yeah, one of the things we've been just could not be more excited about. We have world-class facilities for our academics in the downtown district, the Heritage District, and absolute world-class with our athletic facilities out at the grounds. We could not be happier with our partnership out there. And I will tell you that the number of students who we take out there who are on the fence, who see the facilities, see what we're working with, we see our partnership and the depth of that partnership, and we have to pick their jaws up off the ground in order to help make sure that they can come back and play. They want to be out there, and we could not be happier with our partnership.
Yeah, you could say that better. I like that.
You trained him well, Rob.
That was good, man. I appreciate it. You and Rick. All right, good stuff. Hey, last one, Ben. What is the growth? What is the growth plan for Park Gilbert? Let's say over the last 5 years, both academically and when it comes to athletic.
Yeah, we're excited. So the world, as you all know, man, it is complex and a little bit hard to pin our down on exactly what's going to happen. But what we've been really interested in is listening to the market. And right now, I'll tell you that while I can't make any, future huge predictions here, the number one sport that folks ask me about on the street is women's flag football, right? And so we're taking a really hard look at that. We're looking at what's happening with the rest of our markets, really thinking deeply about what that looks like for our future trajectory. There's others as well. We look at pickleball. We look at some of the other options that folks have. We get good vibes and kind of good feelings about it. But what we really want to do is make sure that it makes sense for sports that we launch to have a sustained pathway in the future. And I am just seeing nothing but growth on that women's flag football front. Academically, where we're focused right now is how do we help folks graduate faster than ever with a meaningful degree. And so for us, we just in our Parkdale campus launched the very first 90-degree credit hour program there. And they've got approval to launch that. And so we're really taking a hard look at what can we do to help academically partner and really think about how to provide education differently. Locally, we're looking at our community college partners and really excited about, some potential partnerships that we can look at in the future there. And then on the high school front, what can we do to help a student come into college faster and graduate faster while getting the experience that they want? So I know it's kind of vague, but what we're excited about is being in the Valley, staying in the Valley, and helping really find folks who need education, who want education, and who are willing to work for it. Does that help?
Oh, that was great. That wasn't vague. You nailed it. That was great. So, so if you go to park.edu, what's the best route, easiest way in the Gilbert Advantage, the opportunity with tuition?
Absolutely. Yep. Two big ways. One is, like you mentioned, just the website. So if you go to park.edu /Gilbert Advantage, all one word, you'll go right to the website where you can find some more information about what the details are, some qualifications, those kind of things. Or the very easiest way, always just email us, Gilbert, GILBERT @park.edu. And that's fast and easy.
Ben, good stuff, buddy. Appreciate your time, man. This is great stuff.
Appreciate
We were
it.
able to
Thank
get you on. You got it.
Yep.
That's Ben Sievers joining
All right,
us, the Associate Vice President at Gilbert Park. And again, Park University. And 75% of the students are student athletes. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And NAIA, and they've had a lot of success. Pretty good basketball team, and hey, women's flag football.
Yeah, it's growing, Rock.
I know you
It's
train a
just
bunch of girls, don't you?
Exploding, absolutely. But I mean, just to see the other thing too is the Gilbert resident getting 50% off.
That's cool.
So that is awesome. Keep those
Where's that
keep
one
those Gilbert athletes in at Park University.
All right, hey, when you're looking for some great food or a great place to watch a game, I had the pot roast today at Twin Peaks. It's the best. Their burgers are made from scratch. They got a new pork chop there.
Oh, do
Pork
they?
chop. Yeah, really good pork chop.
All right.
And of course, the Michelob Ultra at 29 degrees. Every seat has a great view, of course. It's Twin Peaks, your ultimate sports lodge. All right, a 14-year-old Manning went viral on one rollout. Akron, we talked about it before, the season ticket holder deal, where you can be the offensive coordinator. Interesting stuff. We're going to get into all that next.
Bless you.
Pizza next here on Roc and Manuch. All right, sneeze.
You need Phoenix Hydration Energy, spelled Phoenix, like the city we love. Phoenix gives you clean, natural energy from green tea, plus 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. No crash, no junk, just pure performance. Grab Phoenix Hydration Energy today at 7-Eleven, Quick Trip, or Circle K. Phoenix Hydration Energy, rise up.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selection. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard
and always online at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out righttoyota.com.
Football fans, it's time to draft your team and kick off another season. This year, take your fantasy football draft party to Twin Peaks. Cold drinks, made from scratch food, wall-to-wall TVs. Round up your league, grab a table, and get ready for the picks, the rivalries, and a full season of bragging rights. Start your fantasy season at Twin Peaks. Book your draft party at your local lodge today.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Learn and Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Learn and Rowe. It's the way to go. Oh, 977-1900. 977-1900.
Arizona, get ready for live music and golf under the lights. Saturday, September 12th, Yellow Jacket Overtime takes over grass clippings in Tempe. See Arizona native and national recording artist Sydney Bird live at 6:30. GA and VIP tickets, private seating, and night golf foursomes are available. Plus, every ticket supports Arizona classrooms through Wishes for Teachers. Yellow Jacket Overtime, September 12th. Tickets at yjovertime.com.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Let's check the feed. I've been out there scrolling so you don't have to. Every sport, every story, everything blowing up online right now. The highlights, the hot takes, the viral moments, the stuff you're going to be talking about all day. It's all coming across the feed. Here's what's buzzing in the sports world. Let's dig in.
Marshall Manning, Peyton Manning's kid, class of 2030, made his high school debut last night. Chattanooga, Baylor School. He's a freshman. He's the backup. He came in during the second quarter, rolled right, hit a receiver named Cornbread, and along the sideline. And the clip has had millions and millions of views. And some would say you can tell it's Peyton's son just by watching him jog. And you Jets fans, one Jet fan wrote, I saw online, just 7 more years of tanking, and we can finally get our guy. Kid's 14. I mean, you look at Arch Manning, one of the most scrutinized high schoolers in history. So here we go again. This time it's Marshall Manning.
Yeah, I've had a chance to. I watched some of his clips. Peyton working with him. He's tall, lanky kid. Throws a good ball, obviously with his dad training him. And it's just so funny that here he is, a freshman, and folks are looking at touting him. You imagine with Arch Manning coming out with his uncles, as Eli and Peyton, his dad Cooper,
pressure,
and then the pressure. But these kids seem to be well grounded and throw the football very well. And the Manning Passing Academy, you see these kids grow up as they've been coming through the Passing Academy the last several years.
All right, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Akron, the University of Akron football team, announced a contest. The contest was you buy season tickets, and one lucky fan can call the first offensive drive of the year. Their ticket sales went crazy. They spiked. Great idea. Absolute wonderful idea. Then the finalists came out Wednesday night. And among them, Big Cat from Barstool. Yeah, and the internet is already saying it's rigged. Akron says the school accounting ran a drawing and had nothing to do with it. Big Cat bought 8 season tickets, so he had 8 entries, which is fine. But a lot of people think it's all fixed. So read into it what you want. but we'll see. I guess they pulled 9, so we'll find out what happens.
I'm anxious to see what kind of script he has with the coaches to sit down and go through the script. I think the coaches will go, well, here's what we highly recommend. And if you're going to pick any of these, 12 to 15 plays, this is what we highly recommend. So there will be no mystery to that script. It'll be somewhat orchestrated or someone can.
He's a finalist, okay? And most of you know who Big Cat is. Dan Katz is his name, Barstool. He's on the show in the morning, and he's the right-hand guy with Dave Portnoy. But, it's brilliant. The publicity they're getting
absolutely.
by having him just as a finalist. I mean, I was watching the show earlier in the week, and he was talking about it. So, it's cool.
He bought 8 season tickets. I mean, on top of that, he's probably, would look at who's bought the most season tickets and the pricing and all the above. I'm sure that he's probably got a pretty good percentage coming out on top.
The Big 12 put Monster Energy's logo next to its own this season. All right. Fans already hated it because it's ugly. Now a group of doctors and scientists have petitioned the conference and the NCAA to kind of pause the whole thing. They say, hey, Big 12 games reach 10 to 18 million people a weekend. That's big-time exposure to kids, and energy drinks and kids don't mix. They want it off the uniforms, the fields, the student sections, until there's an independent health review. And the Big 12's response, energy drinks aren't new to college sports. Monster's response, we have half the caffeine of coffee house coffee. So interesting. Again, ASU, Arizona, they're part of the Big 12. You're going to start seeing that logo everywhere. Monster there in Tempe and in Tucson.
Well, it's got a bad connotation. I mean, they would have to probably educate everybody. Well, the energy drink.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, well, no, I just think a lot of them don't realize it's got half the amount of caffeine and coffee. They go, well, these Monster drinks, these kids drink them, it's bad for their liver or their kidneys. It's just bad for them. If that doesn't get educated to the Big 12 folks per se, then that's definitely going to be there. And we thought the same thing. At least I did. Wow, Monster?
$20 million, you're going to take that money.
Yeah, well, that's not that much. I mean,
$20 million?
Throughout the entire Big 12? I mean, it's not that. I mean, you thought they'd get like a $60 million or $70 million from that. $20 million is nothing for those teams to divvy up.
They need that.
I know they need the $20 million. I get it. But it's just, you look at the 16 teams in the Big 12, you're looking at maybe, barely over, you're not even getting $1 million by 500,000 or whatever it is.
You get $20 million a year.
No, that's for the entire conference. That's not per team.
Okay, so each team gets $1 million. You don't think that's a good
deal? Oh no, I get it. I think it's.
You don't think they need that?
I would think that Monster
just to have a name on something.
Now, if Red Bull would have stepped up,
Red difference. Red Bull's just as bad as Monster.
Well, it is, but I mean, they might have kicked in more dinero. That's what everybody's looking at.
Dude, the fact that a conference finally got a sponsor on their conference logo, it's smart.
Is it a
brilliant?
Is it a healthy?
Who cares?
Is it a healthy
$20 million to the conference?
I get it. But a lot of people are looking at, well, how could you go after such an unhealthy drink?
All right, so then they're going to stop doing beer ads and spirit ads. Oh, just drinking alcohol is not good for you.
Well, in college, I don't think they have any beer ads. I don't have any monikers on their patches. They'll have it in the stands.
Still,
but they're not going to put it on a field or on their uniform.
All right, game day, college game day. They announced that they're going to go to Oxford, Mississippi on September 19th for the LSU Ole Miss game. That's 3 weeks early. They never announced that. Well, it's obvious why. Kiffin, now the LSU coach, and he's walking back into the stadium. He left after taking Ole Miss to the playoffs.
Oh, man.
Number 9 Ole Miss versus number 11 LSU. And the guy who built one of them coaching the other one?
Yeah.
ESPN didn't need to wait for weeks 1 to 2.
No way.
So game day, they're going to open Baton Rouge, and then they go to Austin and then Oxford.
Must.
So 3 straight. You want to talk?
No, I'm just going to must watch
3
TV.
straight SEC weeks.
You got to love that. I mean, must watch TV. You know,
totally.
Lane going back and the Boo Birds. And wouldn't it be like LSU to go in there? But here's the thing: you got Ole Miss. They're coming back with Chambliss as their quarterback. And he's the guy that coming back. Speaking of guys coming back, 6-year guy coming back. And would they not want to just whoop up on Lane Kiffin big time? So it'd be a must-watch TV for college football.
All right, a little bit later, I got to talk about a Seattle columnist who quit over a spiked column, and he got a job offer within an hour after he quit. Interesting stuff. So we'll dive into that a little bit. Tyreek Hill's in the news too. So, but coming up next, we got to get into some gambling. Yes, Scott Spreitzer will join us as we look at Bo Nix. He's going to get some reps tonight. Is Denver and who are they playing tonight?
I'm not sure to check it out. They got Kyler Murray at home against the Ravens. Got him home start.
Packers and Broncos tonight. Yeah, Packers. So we'll dive into that game. We'll also have them handicap Ravens and Vikings tomorrow, Saints, Rams tomorrow, and of course the Cardinals are hosting the Cowboys. So we'll get into all that next with Scott Spreitzer. But right now, let's catch up with Laz with another sports update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs kick off a 3-game weekend set at Chase Field tonight as they welcome the Cincinnati Reds to town. Eduardo Rodriguez will get the start for the Snakes as first pitch is set for 6:40 with pregame coverage getting underway at 6 on 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. And in the NFL, the Cardinals are preparing for their preseason home opener Saturday night as they welcome the Dallas Cowboys to town for their third preseason game of the year. This Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B Sports Update is powered by Twin Peaks. Football season starts at Twin Peaks, your ultimate sports lodge. Get your league together and host your fantasy football draft party at your local lodge. The commissioners will get a $50 Twin Peaks bounce back card. Cold drinks, made from scratch food, wall-to-wall TVs, and everything that you need for draft day.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Looking for a new ride? Make the right choice. Right Honda in Scottsdale. Whether you're shopping for a fuel-efficient Civic, a family-friendly CRV, the rugged Passport, or the all-new Accord, Right Honda has the selection, value, and customer service Arizona drivers trust. Plus, their experienced service team is here long after the sale. Visit the showroom on Scottsdale Road just south of Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard or shop anytime at righthonda.com. That's righthonda.com, where Arizona drives. Right Honda.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
This September, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B are live Fridays at DraftKings Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale for the Friday Football Lock-In. Pick 5, take the call-in challenge, and win cash. Fridays 1 to 4, only on ESPN Phoenix 620.
I work for the Arizona Department of Public Safety Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Unit. Any idea why I stopped you today? No, sir. I stopped you for distracted driving. Arizona law prohibits the use of electronic devices unless they're hands-free. Truck drivers see everything, except their blind spots. Cutting off a truck is like cutting off a freight train. It's dangerous, so stay focused on the road. Visit sharetheroadaz.com to learn how to drive truck smart.
Sponsored by the Arizona Trucking Association Foundation and the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
The Dean of High School Sports in Arizona, Kevin McCabe, hosts the Kevin McCabe Show Saturday mornings 9 to 11 on the local sports leader. Listen on the Arizona Sports app at 98.7. Now, sports gamblers, Scott Spreitzer, one of the leaders and most trusted names in the country. Nobody watches and studies games more than he does. From TalkSports.com, here's Scott Spreitzer, exclusively on with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
Scott, I owe you a cocktail next time I see you in Vegas for last week, because everything you told us, I bet, and I hit.
Did
so
you,
thank
Roc?
you. Yeah,
Wow.
you did. Great week. So
I'll
thank
take
you
it.
there, Scott. Yes.
Hey,
good
I'll
stuff.
take a free cocktail anytime I can get it. I'll tell you. It was great last week. That angle went 8-0, that preseason angle. So it's now 51-23 the last 3 years against the spread.
That's nuts. All right, let's start with Packers at Broncos. Bo Nix's preseason debut. I saw that Sean Payton says about 14 snaps, and then it'll be all backups. But I was talking to somebody today, ironically, DraftKings, and they were in Denver, and they said it's like 95 in Denver today. So they're getting some crazy weather with that altitude. And so for this game, I think 20 of the 22 starters are back from this Denver team. So there's not a lot of jobs that are available tonight. So are we just going to see backups? How does that go into your handicapping?
Yeah, not a lot of jobs, not a lot of fighting for that top position on either side of the line of scrimmage yet. Denver's getting hammered at the books. They've gone from 3.5-point favorite all the way up to 6.5. And, this fits that angle we talked about last week. And just to let everybody know again, it's if a preseason line moves at least 1.5 points, you play against that line move. So the Packers fit as a play on that angle as long as they're getting at least 5 points. And again, right now they're getting 6.5. A real quick note on that, by the way, I recommend people to wait until like 10 minutes before kickoff, because you want to make sure that line doesn't move the other way and it doesn't fit the angle. And for folks who jumped on the Chargers early yesterday, found out the hard way that ended up not being an angle because 20 minutes before kickoff, it came back the other way and broke out of that angle system. So what I do, I wait till like 10 minutes before kickoff, and that's what I'll do with these games. But yeah, you mentioned, there's just no fights for a top spot really on this Denver Broncos football team. And also Green Bay lost 28-9 in week 1. And we see these teams bounce back in preseason quite often. Plus, we should see some Tyrod Taylor. I got no problem with that. Not a bad preseason rotation for Green Bay. Here's the stat of the week for you guys. Outright winners of the last 42 Denver Broncos preseason games are 41-1 against the spread. You pick the winner of the game, you cover the number. That's the way it's been. And I know it's tough to say, boy, I'm going to back the Green Bay Packers. That's a lot of points, 6.5. Nobody expects them to win outright. And you've got that incredible, preseason record for Denver. But, again, it fits that angle, the Green Bay plus points.
Scott, as you handicap these games, like last night's game, watching the Chargers and San Francisco, and I know Brian's excited to see Brock play, and probably just 1 or 2 series. On the other side, Herbert played 3 plays. That's it. So when guys are starting, as Roc alluded to, Bo Nix starting, and I don't know if Love's going to start, Jordan Love's going to start or not. I haven't seen that. When you see these starters getting ready in preseason, how much credit do you actually put into it when they're only going to be in there maybe 1 drive, if that?
Yeah. No, I don't put hardly any credit into it. Not like it used to be. We used to get coaches who would play their starters into the third quarter, at least the first series of the third quarter, to get that second half feel coming out of the locker room. Not anymore, man. So that's why I've really gone to, I'm like 99% angle plays in preseason football, because I hear, I'm not saying that he's going to start, but, if they announce that you got, Patrick Mahomes is going to start, okay, great. What's he going to do? Play 1 set of downs? So I don't put anything into it at all anymore in preseason play. And, it's fun to talk about. It sure seems logical when you hear, that a starting offensive unit is going to, play and the other team's not going to play their starters. But then you're really not happy when, 2 series later, you're back to all the backups. Last night, Raiders are getting beat 17-0. It was funny. I texted my brother and I texted another bettor here in town. I go, it's preseason. Watch the Raiders come back and win the game. And what did they do? As soon as Houston started bringing in everybody to take looks at them, the Raiders come back and win the game. So, yeah, you just got to be real careful about that stuff in modern-day NFL preseason football.
And then the angle, we'll look at the Ravens at the Vikings. Vikings minus 3.5, that being tomorrow night. Usually the second to last game for the last 90 years is usually that game where a lot of guys start. Now, that's changed in modern era football. But with Kyler Murray trying to learn this offense a little bit, and you're looking at this -3.5, and the Ravens haven't really virtually played anybody. I don't know if Lamar's going to start. How do you work this one with Kyler having to get some rep to learn this O'Connell offense?
Yeah, that's a tricky one, this game, because if we can get up to 4, the Ravens become a play on that angle. But at the same time, you're going to see potentially Kyler Murray playing a little bit here. I don't believe that Lamar is going to get any time at all, and if he does, maybe one series from what I've been hearing. Joe Fagnano, by the way, he looked great last week for the Ravens. He was 22 for 28, 224 yards and a touchdown, and I think we'll see more Ty Huntley this week after going 6 of 7 last week. But again, this is one of those situations where I think if Kyler Murray plays a decent amount of series, if they're up 10-0, 13-3, jump in with live action on Baltimore. Because once Kyler Murray's out, I think you're going to see a situation where you get Fagnano back out there again, who looks like he understands what the Ravens are trying to do. You get Ty Huntley a little bit, and all of a sudden you've got an advantage. So that would be my recommendation on this one is don't get involved. See how much Kyler Murray plays. If he does play more than the typical starter and they get a lead, 10-point lead, 7-point lead when he leaves, think about coming back on the Baltimore Ravens as a live bet.
Scott Spreitzer joining us here, DocSports.com, Roc and Manuch, ESPN Radio Phoenix. All right, Saints, Rams, two teams that just got punched, literally $500,000 in their joint practice. Tyler Shuck's been impressive. A lot of people like Tyler Simpson. He's going to get some snaps, 1.5 in L.A. How you handicapping this?
Yeah, and this one doesn't look like we're going to get an angle play on this one, guys. The Saints opened 1.5. They did get as high as 3. They're back to 1.5. So probably won't get enough movement now to become a play. But you mentioned Tyler Shuck. I mean, he looked good in that joint practice earlier this week. I mean, he was 15 of 20 against the Rams by those who were counting, and he made some nice throws, some nice reads. And then we do get a nice backup battle, with you got Rattler and Zach Wilson for the Saints. You got Bennett and Simpson for the Rams. Over 37 and now 37.5 has been getting a decent amount of action. It feels logical with these quarterback battles. But back to a trend I gave you last week, conference matchups with a total of 37 or higher are 58 and 26 to the under in preseason action. And one of those 26 happened last night when the Raiders and Texans went over, but 58 and 26 to the under when that total's 37 or higher. It scares me off this one a little bit. My gridiron X's and O's matchups and quarterback battles for second string has me thinking over, but it's so tough to go against those angles.
All right, last but not least, here tomorrow night at State Farm, Cowboys, the Cardinals. Last time I looked, the Cardinals were -1.5. How do you look at this game with whomever? It looks like some spot starters for the Cardinals, and I haven't seen the Cowboys one way or the other if Dak and some of the guys go one way or the other.
Yeah, Arizona scored a lot of points, obviously, the last two games, but Dallas does have a nice battle for backup to Dak Prescott. They've got Joe Milton and Sam Howell splitting time this week, it looks like, getting most of the snaps, those two. Last week, those two combined for 20 of 27, 200 yards, couple of touchdown passes, so they played well. But I think the under is the right way to go. I just mentioned that angle. This total's 37.5. Arizona has people thinking points, because of what they've done in their two games thus far. But again, we get that great under angle. It's stated at 37.5, so it qualifies. And I think you're going to see a lower scoring game. I think it's going to remain under 37.5 between these two teams. Just my gut feeling, you're not going to see an all-out effort out of Arizona to score a bunch of points. Milton and Howell have been good splitting time. But again, I think it stays under the total in this one. I think what happened here is people are expecting to see a lot of more points out of Arizona again, like we've seen the last couple of weeks in their games. But I think it comes back to the mean a little bit in this one.
Scott, you were telling us last week about how much you're all over baseball and the playoffs moving forward. In a situation with Ketel Marte, the mystery on Monday, then the whole mystery the entire week, and now he's going to be on the 10-day IL. How much does that affect the handicapping for the Diamondbacks per se moving forward, and even not even knowing, even after the 10-day IL, whether he's going to come back or not?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I still, starting pitchers, bullpens are, 85% of it all. But, the thing about Ketel Marte is I was looking the other night. I'm glad you brought it up. I was looking the other night at what his effect could be on Arizona. First of all, it sounds like it's a good thing he's out of the clubhouse he's going to go through this stuff. But if you look at his WAR, his wins above replacement, when I was checking this out the other night, thinking the same thing your question just asked, how much is this going to affect how I judge Arizona every day in a handicapped effort. Well, his WAR the last 3 years, 2024 was 6.3. For those who are new to this, it's wins above replacement. He was 6.3. That's excellent. The next year, 2025, 4.6. This year, he was all the way down to 2.1. That's not good. That's his lowest wins above replacement in 5 seasons. So, I'm not sure that it's going to hurt this team as much as definitely not as much as it would have last year or the year before. And we've just seen a little bit of a drop-off in some of those deep metrics. So I guess what I'd have to say is that it really doesn't affect my handicap on the D-backs moving forward. I'm going to wait and see how they play the next couple of weeks, see if there's any issues with his spot in the lineup or the batting order. And if there's not really a big difference, then I just kind of forget about it.
Scott, great stuff. Thanks again. Hopefully we'll do the same as you did last week. We'll just keep stacking those drinks. All right, buddy?
I'm ready, man. Let's stack a few more.
You got it. That's Scott Spreitzer. You can follow him at Scott Wins on social platforms, as well as just go to DocSports.com. He's got a lot of opportunities there, so check that out. So, all right, the under for the Cardinals. How about that, dudes? This football season, Monday nights, will be at Biggs American Bar and Grill. It's great for preseason games. Go watch Cardinals tomorrow night, regular season, and great place to host your fantasy football draft if you're doing that. All happening at Biggs. Ice cold drinks, loaded burgers, wall-to-wall TVs, just off the 101 at 83rd Avenue Bell in Peoria, near the Peoria Sports Complex. You hit up BiggsPeoria.com to lock in your draft party. All right, Nielsen ranked all 30 NFL markets on who actually buys gear, goes to games, bets the games in the 2 biggest cities in America. Finished 29th and 30th. And Buffalo, Kansas City, and Green Bay won. I'll tell you what this all means and how TV audiences are changing on how and how they're going to be kind of thrown down our face. Because, you always hear about ratings. And to us, sure, we don't care. Who cares if 2 million people watch a game or not? It doesn't affect us, right? We're watching. We want to watch it. But they're changing how they're going to be basically telling us how they get to those ratings. So it's interesting as the numbers are getting even bigger. So we'll get into that next. Roc and Manuch out here at Right Toyota.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Looking for a new ride? Make the right choice. Right Honda in Scottsdale. Whether you're shopping for a fuel-efficient Civic, a family-friendly CRV, the rugged Passport, or the all-new Accord, Right Honda has the selection, value, and customer service Arizona drivers trust. Plus, their experienced service team is here long after the sale. Visit the showroom on Scottsdale Road just south of Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, or shop anytime at righthonda.com. That's righthonda.com, where Arizona drives. Right Honda.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
This September, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B are live Fridays at DraftKings Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale for the Friday football lock-in. Pick 5, take the call-in challenge, and win cash. Fridays 1 to 4, only on ESPN Phoenix 620.
I work for the Arizona Department of Public Safety Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Unit. Any idea why I stopped you today?
No, sir.
I stopped you for distracted driving. Arizona law prohibits the use of electronic devices unless they're hands-free. Truck drivers see everything, except their blind spots. Cutting off a truck is like cutting off a freight train. It's dangerous, so stay focused on the road. Visit sharetheroadaz.com to learn how to drive truck smart.
Sponsored by the Arizona Trucking Association Foundation and the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
The dean of high school sports in Arizona, Kevin McCabe, hosts the Kevin McCabe Show Saturday mornings 9 to 11 on the local sports leader. Listen on the Arizona Sports app at 98.7. It's Friday. The guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Yeah, we're out here right Toyota in our Scottsdale. And the Cardinals' new performance center is officially under construction, and they are moving, what Michael Bidwell has said, lightning pace. Concrete for the foundation started pouring, or will be starting in the next several days. And his exact words, will be in the building in 23 months. So that puts the move in at summer of 2028. And if you're not familiar where this is, North Phoenix, right at Scottsdale Road in the Loop 101. And Michael Bidwell says that you'll be able to see it going up from the freeway, which you can. The team bought 217 acres of state land in an auction last year, broke ground in February. 30 of those acres are going to be a performance center, and it'll be the team headquarters. That leaves another 187 acres that'll be for everything else. Dignity Health is already planning a 300,000 square foot medical campus on the site. So there'll be a sports medicine institute, all types of outpatient surgery, imaging, all that kind of stuff. Lads, you may need to go there. Dignity Health for your
Closer for you.
Blow out your knee. This replaces the Tempe facility, which is at Warner and Hardy. And that's been their home since 1990. So interesting stuff that, they've been there in Tempe for, 36 years. And here they are moving over to the Scottsdale Road and the 101.
Long overdue, Rock. I think that's one of the long overdue that they're finally kind of catch up with the Joneses, but you got to like it. If you're a player, you're around the next 3 or 4 years.
So glad I moved from Greyhawk.
Oh, my gosh. I can't imagine.
The traffic was so bad getting out of Greyhawk to get down south on Scottsdale Road, or you try to go on Hayden or go on Pima just to get out of there. Now, with this construction and what this is going to bring to that area, hey, hell with it, your home values are going up. You're going to lose your mind in traffic.
I would hope that they'd have to widen it and make some vast improvements there on Scottsdale Road.
So much traffic right now there. I just don't know. It's already, if you're going, you know who you are. You're going east or west on the 101 at any time, during rush hour, and it kind of just all stops right before Scottsdale Road heading west during rush hour. It's going to stop probably, Cactus now? Maybe Frank Lloyd Wright?
It may.
Oh, it's going to be horrible.
But I tell you what, that facility, if you do drive by it, it's amazing how fast they are moving dirt.
They're doing a hell of a job there. All right, the two biggest media markets in America, of course, are LA and New York. You got 4 NFL teams, tens of millions of people. And Nielsen ranked all 30 NFL markets on what they call fandom. Who buys the gear, who goes to the game, who watches, who bets, who follows. And interesting that LA and New York finished dead last, 30th and 29th. This is a brand new thing that Nielsen is doing. And this NFL Fandom Index, it's off a survey of more than 200,000 adults, 8 categories. The winners were Buffalo, Kansas City, and Green Bay, Cincy, and Philly. The entire AFC North landed in the top 10. And the number that jumped off the page is Kansas City. They scored 280 on apparel, Buffalo 272, meaning people in those markets alone, are almost 3 times more likely than the average American to buy NFL gear in the last 12 months. The Cardinals ranked 25th out of the 30 NFL markets. I mean, barely above the national average of 100. They're 101. So Miami and San Francisco and Tampa kind of round out the bottom half with LA and New York.
It's interesting. It's kind of like the true fandom. I mean, there's a lot of fans for some of those, for the LA and New York market, but the fandom, I think what you're getting at there, Roc, is they're totally dialed in with all the merch, not only their season tickets, all of the ancillary things that they do within a team as far as following it. I wish they'd add one more piece of how many of the fans follow their team on the road to also be another measurement as far as, okay, there's a lot of teams that could have maybe it's 10% follow the teams on the road. And but that makes sense to me because look at the Midwest. I mean, everywhere I go, I mean, it's not as if I probably do see more Chiefs, Steelers, just such apparel than I do more so than the Giants or the Rams.
A lot of it is too. I mentioned Buffalo, Green Bay, Cincy. They're small markets. They don't have all four major teams. We have three of the four. That's a big part of it. And here's what makes this thing kind of funny. Yeah, not funny, but just bizarre. This comes out the same week that Roger Goodell said, no doubt, there will be an NFL team, a franchise or franchises outside the USA someday. Why chase London and Paris and all that and just go into a little market? It shows, it proves Buffalo, Green Bay, Cincy, little markets are the business. Pay attention to that. The loudest market isn't your best market. Clearly, you have four teams in LA and in New York. All right. You have four teams in those two cities. They finish on the bottom.
Don't you think that, Roc, when Roger Goodell does their studies, that when you look at the soccer teams that are over there in Europe, how much apparel those people buy? They buy, if they're there in London or in Germany, they buy just buku.
But they're buying all 30.
Okay. Well, I know, but
they're buying all 30.
No, I'm talking about their soccer teams that represent for that city.
Yeah.
They buy all that apparel. Now,
that's all they have.
I know that, but if an NFL team goes there, he's looking at, okay, if you got the team that plays at Wembley weekend, they're selling out. Just see if the NFL team was there, whether it be an expansion or a team moving, he would get the same kind of results for that NFL team. There'd be that same kind of enthusiasm.
The thing is they've tried this before. The World League. I interned with the Columbus team, the Ohio Glory, Just one season they did a little game day stuff, but I know it's not NFL World League, but they've tried. They've been over there, and I get it. Where they got 9 different games this year, or countries that they're playing somewhere around there. It's a lot. Just keep doing that.
I don't know. I just think that he's really so enamored.
Team's going to want to, move their family out of the United States and live in London.
Well, I'll tell you what. If any team does it, it'd be Jacksonville because they're like, I want to go. You look at that owner. He's the guy that wants to be there every year.
He wants to go, but do you think the players, the team, the front office, you really think anybody wants to go? Do you think the Jacksonville fan base wants to see their team go? No.
There's a player.
I would rather see the NFL expand in some other markets.
Yeah,
some smaller markets. I don't know if you could do Portland or if you could do I don't know. I mean, there's some markets out there I'm sure that makes some sense, but it proves with this model that the little markets are the business.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's very interesting that when you have a limited amount that pretty much can put that money into it. We have just maybe 2 majors or just 1 majors you represent. You pointed out with like Green Bay. Those are some of the things that you look at, and especially when you look at some of the areas that, okay, how much money do I have to spread? Here in town with the 3 majors we have, Suns, you look at the Suns, Diamondbacks, and the Cardinals, that's going to wane into your representation who you're a fan for. So maybe you don't buy a jersey every year for the Diamondbacks. Maybe you buy 1 jersey for the Cardinals. You hold on to that for 5 years. These smaller markets, hell, they're buying jerseys all the time. Who's the new star? The Bryce, you look at Jeremiah Love. I'm sure there's a lot of those that will be sold if he's your first rounder.
So starting August 31st, Nielsen is going to make what they call co-viewing part of the official ratings currency. So the actual numbers networks use to, sell ads and things like that, leagues use to sell their rights. Co-viewing is just kind of a fancy word for something you already know. 4 people on the couch watching 1 TV. That's what they're going to start doing. For decades, that room full of people, so your Super Bowl party counted as 1 viewer. Now they're going to dive into that, and they piloted it back in February. And, this is going to be big how they're going to count, I think, bars and sports bars and things like that. But think about that. Same game, same couch, but it's different math. So I'm interested to see these big numbers. So get ready. We're going to hear, 25 million people watch that, that Cowboy Cardinal game. It's a 35% increase from last year. Well, people aren't going to know that. They're using a different.
Sure. It's interesting. They bring that up.
Curtis.
At a bar, you may have, 100 people and 150 that they would count that have some kind of average. How are they going to know with the coach
how many people are going to be on that couch?
On that couch, or how many in that bar? Or they just do guesstimations? Or that's the thing that mystifies me with these Nielsen ratings. How would you track that?
Nielsen's the worst. Manuch, Nielsen's basically a rating. When I work in television, it's a box on let's say 100 or 1,000 households in the valley.
Okay.
We're the fifth largest city, right?
Right.
And basically, he can't tell you. The box it can only say, hey, for you, you're watching the View, so it marks you down as all right. The Manucci household watches the View.
Yeah, we got 2 there. So,
but we don't know it's 2. They're not going to one.
I don't know. Maybe there's a camera they'll instill with that as well too.
No one fills out diaries. And the women are the only ones that fill out the diaries.
I don't know anybody that does that anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, where are we going? We are going to talk about the latest on Ketel Marte. Bill Lewis will join us. A lot to get into in hour number 3. Appreciate you hanging out with us today on a Friday at Wright Toyota. Football season's here, but there's so much drama off the field, which is unfortunate. But Ketel Marte, the latest next.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Rivera, Senior Marketing Manager with Mattamy Homes. We're proud to be the Stories of Hope sponsor of the Phoenix Children's Hospital Give-a-thon. In my own family, my son was diagnosed with leukemia. He's now doing great, all thanks to the wonderful medical care of PCH. Call 602-933-4567. You can also text GIVE to 620-620. The children at PCH need our help now more than ever.
At Train, tough comes standard. But real strength isn't just muscle. It's knowing when to flex. HVAC units tough enough for the extremes, but smart enough to know what's next. We engineer for chaos, so your home always stays comfortable. Train, built strong, engineered smart. It's hard to stop a train.
Train is a proud sponsor of the Phoenix Children's Hospital and Champions of Hope, helping provide funding for the hospital's care, life-saving research, and families in need.
When your joints hurt every day and you've been told you need surgery, it can feel like you are out of options. My advice, do your homework. Remember, once a joint is replaced, there is no going back. Hey everybody, Dan Bickley here, and before you schedule surgery, consider getting a second opinion from QC Kinetics. Discover how they use regenerative treatments to deliver relief to patients just like you right here in the Valley. They concentrate healing tools within your body right at the source of your pain, and the whole idea is to give you a real shot at holding off on surgery or, in some cases, avoiding it altogether. And that's why it makes sense to explore every option before making a decision that can change your life. Don't just accept that surgery is your only choice. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. You can find clinics in Phoenix, Scottsdale, Peoria, and Chandler. Just call 602-837-PAIN, 602-837-PAIN for QC Kinetics.
Make Azul Bar and Grill your new favorite hangout. Sing along with live karaoke, play bingo, catch the best local bands, or challenge your friends in the game room. Add great food, a fun atmosphere, and a place where everyone feels welcome. And you've got good times waiting at Azul, located at 3134 West Carefree Highway in Tremonto Plaza. See daily events and specials at azulgrill.com.
When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. State 48 Roofing, Arizona's most trusted roof.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports. Is ESPN 620. It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
All right, a little update on Ketel Marte. And lads, if you can dial up some of that sound from MLB today with Torey Lovullo, we'll get to that in a moment. But basically, here's where it stands. He's on a 10-day injured list. So the timeline for the interesting week, thank goodness it's Friday, right? No showed Monday at Fenway. Went on the restricted list, which is unpaid. Flies back to Phoenix on Tuesday. Agent said Wednesday he's managing a personal matter. Thursday, yesterday, at around 1 o'clock, he sat down at Summer Fields with Mike Hazen, Torey Lovullo, and his agent, and it was reported to be productive. Now, Hazen wouldn't say more. We discussed the last week, and that, obviously, we're not going to get into that. And then Thursday night, he was moved to the IL. An MRI showed some inflammation in his upper hamstring and his the joint in his left knee. So he got an injection. And team said they hope it'll work. The thing that nobody said is why he didn't show up on Monday. Of course, Derek Hall on 98.7 said still a complete mystery. It's just bizarre, and that's where it sits. Keep it there. Don't speculate. But two details worth maybe putting in your pocket: the IL stint is not retroactively dated per Bacoro from the Arizona Republic. Earliest return is roughly like August 31st, which is when they played the Phillies. I guess he's going to talk to his teammates at some point. You would hope that that's happening right now if they're at the ballpark for tonight's game against Cincinnati. Nobody's confirmed whether he's going to be in the clubhouse today or not. Maybe there's some reports out there. We have yet to see those. So Vargas has been in there filling in at second. And Jose Fernandez, 4 of 11 in Boston, both bases loaded walk on Wednesday. That was big. So the key is you got the wild card standings right here. And as of this morning, Padres lost yesterday. Nobody moved Thursday. So Arizona's back to, 1 game out. Cubs, Phillies, Padres, Diamondbacks, Cardinals. That's where we're looking right now. So this is a pretty big series with the Cincinnati team coming in. You got your best pitcher on the mound tonight in Rodriguez. But still, it's the off the field drama that we continue to talk about. That's all that anybody wants to talk about.
I guess if it was going to happen, there's really no good time for that to happen. I mean, they're still in the hunt. You mentioned in 1 game back at that third spot. They're taking on a Cincinnati team that's reeling. They've lost 6 out of their last 10. They're having a hard time scoring runs. You look at their run differential, the Cincinnati Ball Club, their run differential is -89. So when they don't score a lot of runs, they rely on their pitching. So you would hope that the Diamondbacks look at this, and you mentioned you got Erod on the mound tonight. Put all this stuff behind them as best as you can. You basically, I think for a lot of the guys in the clubhouse, are pretty much say, hey, look, this is on us. Whether Ketel comes back or not, we can't worry about that. The only thing we can worry about is getting ourselves ready. And when he does come back, I think there'll be a set time for him to come back, whether that's this weekend or right before the Cup Series. But that's a good question, Rock. It's okay. Is he going to be there tonight? Will he gather the troops, talk to everybody? And where's he going to get his rehab at? Is he going to the trainers? Is he going to do that before the game? Will he be in the dugout? Most of the time, guys on the IL, they're in the dugout. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of these players or people are thinking about right now is how are they going to get themselves ready if he shows up. So I think that's one of the big points right now is addressing whether he shows up one way or the other. And if he does show up, how is that going to affect this clubhouse?
So the Diamondbacks, did they handle this right? They did, I think, the only thing they could. I mean, you can't suspend a guy with a no trade clause and a contract through 2030. You can't trade him. You can't cut him. your options are you fight them publicly, right? Which is what they're kind of doing.
Sure.
Or you get them back on the field. And Hazen picked the field. 3 days unpaid on the restricted list. That was the punishment. Guess you move on. And that's exactly, I don't think he had much leverage.
No, I just think that there's a couple things here. If they were, I think if they were satisfied that whatever that personal issue was, besides his hamstring and his knee, then at that particular point in time, they're going, okay, we can live with it. As far as suspending him, put him on the IL. Now, who's to say, Roc, that they feel after those 10 days that they feel that he's not quite ready and they put him on another 10-day IL and just kind of keep that going? That could serve as a suspension. It's like Zach Gallen. They put Zach Gallen on a 60-day, and he's probably not going to come back because they feel they're going to go with the guys that they have right now. That was kind of a graceful way of saying, you're just not getting the job done for us. Whatever injury you have, we're going to put you on the 60-day, and we're going to go with the rotation we have because they got Corbin Burns coming back. So you got that. So if they extend him again for another 10-day IL, and they say, we'll just keep doing that to show some grace as a form of suspension for what he did. But if not, if he comes back on, in 2 weeks, August 30th, as you're mentioning, then they pretty much have unruffled the feathers. It's all good, and you move on from here.
He's going to come back. They're going to play the Phillies. It's going to be the bottom of the ninth. He's going to hit the game.
Hit a dinger.
And
yeah, it'll all be good.
And then we'll wait till next August.
And you've heard from Derek Hall, you've heard from Troy Lavello, and Mike Hazen. Everybody wants the apology. Everybody wants him come in that clubhouse, talk it out. Here's the thing. Here's what's going on. I apologize. And I think a lot of guys, hey, we're a very forgiving society, right? Well, for a lot of guys that have been around the last 3 years, this is the third time this has happened. So if I'm Corbin Carroll and I'm Nolan Arenado, I want to know, hey, look, how can we be assured, aside from any injury you might have, that this isn't going to rear its ugly head again? We need those assurances, Cattell. We come down to last week. That last week, you got a 3-game series against the San Diego Padres. Whoever wins that series could end up going to the playoffs. We don't want you to show up after the Rocky series and say, you know what, I can't go. That's not going to fly.
Troy Lavello today, 11 o'clock or so around there, he was on MLB radio, and here he is being interviewed. He was asked about the Marte meeting and what Ketel Marte needs to say to the team.
What has to be said in your mind?
Just that, I'm sorry. And we put everything on the table, and we were talking about the process and what it's going to take to get him back on the field. And I'll leave it at that. I thought it was a very productive meeting. Mike ran point on it. I thought he did a fantastic job.
So the process to get him back on the field, and we'll deal with that. Okay. So number one, get him healthy, get the hamstring healthy, get the knee healthy, that piece of it. But I didn't hear from the physical side, the process of him talking to his teammates or dealing with whatever the personal issue is, dealing with that. And that's a process. So anytime a skipper, a coach, general manager says, we've got a process to go through, it's not just, hey, when he gets healthy, he's coming back on the field. We want to get him healthy as quick as we can. There was more to that statement, Roc, in the way he said it, as far as you didn't really get into why, but he just said the process, the mental side, the physical side, before we get him on the field. So he's got to go through whatever they want him to go through in order to get him back on the field, that clubhouse.
Well, Diamondbacks made their choice this week. They could have made this a standoff. They could have done that, or maybe they could have just made it about the hamstring, which smart, maybe, I don't know, necessary, probably. But I think fans, we don't have it. We don't have a no trade clause.
That's right.
And they're going to decide when he gets up to bat on the 31st or the 1st or whatever it's going to be, and what kind of response the fans are going to give number 4 when he walks up to the plate. That's on Ketel, not on him.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Whatever you put out there, be careful what comes back at you. And I think fans realize, Roc, that if it's handled in a responsible way, in an adult way, and in an accountable way, people understand. that people have issues, they have concerns, they have problems, things pop up. But don't leave everybody hanging. At that point, people go, hey, what's up? It's a character issue. It's an integrity issue. If you're up front and you say, I got some things to deal with, I need to step away, we all respect that. But this thing did not happen that way. And they also understand if you're injured and you got a knee issue and your hamstring issue, they also understand you got to get that help. That's all well and good. But the mystery in the way this is out there, fans are like, something's up. Fans aren't stupid. They can spot it a mile away. That
Some
fans. But, hope springs eternal. He comes back and he can produce. Unfortunately, in pro sports, that's the bottom line. All is forgiven if you can produce on the field.
Well, you're home against a team that's packing it in. You got Erod, 12-4. Sirocco tomorrow. He's been terrific. If you don't take 2 or 3 from Cincinnati, the Marte conversation becomes the excuse. And this team doesn't get to have an excuse. They don't. And when you got Reds, Cubs, 6 at home, and a Reds team that's lost 5 of 7, just gave away one away on a drop fly ball
yesterday.
And
go Cardinals.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. And, can this team Can this team make the playoffs without him? I mean, I think they can.
I think they can, sure.
Guys have been getting hurt all season, and other guys have been coming up and stepping up.
You'll miss his pop, his those home runs that he's got from right side, left side. You'll miss that power for him. But I think when you look at overall, yeah, he's an outstanding player. He's one of those guys that can, if he can get it done on a consistent basis. But if you got a guy out there, you just don't know if he's not healthy physically. That's one thing. But you don't want any kind of mental irregularities to pop up. You've got, 6 weeks left in this season.
All right, why is the second to last preseason game so important to the Cards? And what will the head coach, Mike LaFleur, be looking for on both offense and defensive sides of the ball when they play the Cowboys tomorrow? We'll discuss that next. Appreciate you hanging out with us right here at Wright Toyota. It's Roc Manuch, ESPN Radio Phoenix, 98.7 FM HD-2. We're also on YouTube right now, streaming live, and always on the Arizona Sports app.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Ball players, legends. One incredible weekend of golf. It's the MLB Retired Players Association Celebrity Classic, September 19th through the 21st at Ocotillo Golf Club in Chandler. Play around paired with an actual MLB player, plus swag, breakfast, and lunch while raising money for retired players, kids with autism through music movement, and ASU baseball scholarships. Foursomes are going fast. Register today at music-movement.org. That's music-movement.org.
Hey, it's Jimmy B. Football season is here, and there's never been a better time to grow your business. Partner right now with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. with live endorsement, show sponsorships, featured segments, remote broadcasts, and so much more. YouTube, social media, and commercials, all built around your goals and your budget. Visit rocandmanuch.com and click advertise. Let's grow your business together.
Looking for a new ride? Make the right choice. Right Honda in Scottsdale. Whether you're shopping for a fuel-efficient Civic, a family-friendly CRV, the rugged Passport, or the all-new Accord, Right Honda has the selection, value, and customer service Arizona drivers trust. Plus, their experienced service team is here long after the sale. Visit the showroom on Scottsdale Road just south of Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, or shop anytime at righthonda.com. That's righthonda.com, where Arizona drives Right Honda.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Are you a dementia caregiver? Perhaps you care for your spouse, family member, or friend. Whoever it is, being a dementia caregiver can build relationships and test them. I'm Bill, and I want to thank you for the care you have provided. I've faced similar situations, so I'm speaking on behalf of the Dementia Society of America, a nonprofit organization. Request our free guide filled with tips on care, planning, and much more. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Thank you.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Two under center. Snap. Three-step drop. Throwing a fade. Front right corner of the end zone has a man. It is caught. It's Simi Fielko with a touchdown for the Cardinals, who take the lead. 9:16 to play in the second.
Well, the best highlight so far this preseason. Hope to see a lot more of that this season. But we are in preseason. And game number 3 for the Cardinals, the only home game for them, and it's the Dallas Cowboys. I'm anxious to see, there's a lot of buzz, and there always is going into the season with the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, ESPN is the home of the Cowboys. And, I mean, Stephen A's got his little shtick with the Cowboys, and it's fun. It's getting a little old, but, it is what it is with the four-letter network when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. They love leading with it. For a team that considers himself America's team and hasn't won a Super Bowl
since 1996,
a long time. And it was here in Tempe on Sun Devil Stadium, or at Sun Devil Stadium. I'm anxious to see, will they be out tomorrow?
Yeah.
Will the fans, the Cowboy fans, be out there?
Oh, I think they will.
Their team.
Anytime they come to Arizona, they're out. I mean, they'll be out there. And some of the things that it's pretty much, you look at back in the day, we had the 4 preseason games. The game number 3 was always that last dress rehearsal, getting you ready for the season, because the 4th game would be pretty much a lot of the second, third teamers, a lot of free agents, and also kind of give everybody a chance to rest up for a couple weeks, because in those days, after the 4th preseason game, you played a week later, so you're ready to go. Well, nowadays, with only 3 preseason games, it's technically the second game that you have, and then next week against the Packers, the Cardinals, for that sake, they'll probably rest everybody, make sure everybody's good to go. But now you've got 2 weeks before you play your original game. So you got next week, and then they don't play again until September 13th. So a lot of these coaches nowadays are like, well, if I don't play my guys the second preseason game, and if I don't play them a lot at all the 3rd preseason game, it would technically be Rocky. Let's say a lot of stars will play tomorrow. It'd be almost 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks before they played September 13th. So a lot of coaches are kind of, debating. But if they are going to play their guys, they're going to play their starters, or the second teamers or guys are going to be, I call that'll be in the swing of things, whether you're a starter or backup. There's a lot of things from the offensive side they want to look at. There's a lot of things from the defensive side they want to look at. So if you're playing your starters, whether it's a quarter or your second teamers or guys are on the bubble, there's a couple things they want to look at first and foremost. Number one, offensively, you got your first and second team. They want to see how well you execute. How well do you execute? How well do you perform the play at task? Are you running the right route? Are you making the right read as a quarterback? Are you making sure you got the right amount of yardage on your routes? Those are some of the things that they want to look at. So let's say, for example, like the quarterback. Okay, so if Gardner Minshew's in tomorrow, because we know Brissett's not going to play, or even if Dak Prescott's in tomorrow, or whoever I forget who their backup is, and they're looking at him and going, okay, this is the last dress rehearsal before we play on that weekend of 13. Okay, are you making the right reads? You got the right drop? Are you getting the ball out? Are you seeing it? How are you reacting? Are you avoiding the rush? Just a lot of people think that's very simple stuff. But when it's on film, if you're playing a quarter or 2 quarters, how consistent are you with that? Receivers, as I mentioned, correct routes, yards after contact. Are you making sure you're reading the options at the quarterback? If he audible, did you get the audible? Those are a lot of things they're looking at from the receiving corps. So it kind of trickles down. Now the running backs, and if you're not going to play Jeremiah Love or Connor or Algier, okay, I think there's 3 guys left. If you're going to make this team and you're playing on that second team offensive line, for example, okay, you call this play. It's a stretch zone play. Did you set it up? Did you hit the hole? How did you do as far as hitting the hole? Did you break tackles? Blitz packages. Did you pick up the blitz? If you had a route, did you run the right route? Again, the right distance. Did you catch the ball? The other thing too that I tell a lot of people that, then we'll get to the defense in a second. Tackling and catching the football sometimes can be a novelty. For receivers, as difficult as it's saying, did you catch the ball when they put it right on you? And then last but not least, on the offensive side, Roc, the offensive line, whether you're playing first teamers or second teamers, the schemes, the schematics, blitz pickups, your assignment, did you take this step or that step? So this is really the only time those coaches are going to have those first or second team guys and you go, okay, guys, after this week, we've got 4 weeks to clean up what you're not getting done. And I think those are some of the things on the offensive side. If I looked at the defense, I'm going to look at my front 7. I'm looking at the 4-3 front, 34 front. Is that defensive lineman, is he pitching in the gap? Is that linebacker backfilling? I mean, there's so much to look at that if they're carrying out their assignments properly, those are what the defensive coaches are going to look at. There's a couple of guys I'm sure that they'll have their eyes on in reference to making sure that they're progressing. Is that rookie going into a second year, or that second year kid going into your third year, is he making the proper steps, or is he growing, or is he pretty much there? I think of some of the linebacking core that they're going to take a look at as well too. And last but not least, as far as the defensive backs are concerned, you got some competition. You also got some young guys at the corners. Are they getting caught up as far as the passing? Are they covering? And from that standpoint, and last but not least, as I mentioned, how are they tackling? Are they getting guys, are they wrapping them up, getting them down? So this is that last game. This is only 3 of them that they're not going to play next week, and they're going to wait for another 4 weeks before they see any kind of playing time. They'll be under the microscope of what they do tomorrow night.
How many actual position jobs are being fought for, you think? If out of the 22, how many do you think are up for grabs?
Okay. Well, I think that the competition receiver, who they keep.
The number 2?
Yeah. Well,
3?
I think probably the 4 and 5.
All right. Okay. So I'm talking more about, we talked about the Denver Broncos have, 20 of their 22 starters returning from last year.
I think right now the best competition, I would say, big corner, at cornerback, Denzel Burke. You got Williams back, the safety. So I think from the defensive side, I'm looking at, and the nickel slot. You got Garrett Williams is back. So I think those jobs are, as far as the depth and the starters, I mean, even Will Johnson. And Will Johnson, can he step up his game, going into his second year? And then obviously at the right guard position, now that Basantis is out, who's going to be that next guy that steps up? Now look at right now, you got Isaiah Adams. Is Udo going to be the guy that fills that out? Or they look at the other side, they look at Hayden Connor. Are those two going to be able to step up and create that competition? So that's another thing. And then I think the quarterback situation's resolved. It'll just be whether Carson Beck, I would hope to see him play next week, get more playing time. And I would hope his ribs after 3 weeks would be a lot better.
So you just rambled for 10 minutes.
Oh, I love
right?
it. Yeah, I love it. Breaking it down.
Isn't basically that's your clipboard report? I mean, why aren't we firing off the clipboard report when you like to ramble?
You know what? I
mean, that's totally
my bad. I should have thought about that.
Oh, here we go.
Tell Manuch to do what he does best. Hold the clipboard.
As Manucci takes slides, hit, keeps the ball 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 50, and he's hauled out from behind at the 10-yard line. Manucci was wondering when he run out of gas or run out of field. He did a little of both.
Manuch dives into last weekend's quarterback play across the NFL. It's Manuch's Clipboard Report, exclusively on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
You know, I don't know why we have to say exclusively. If any other radio station, TV station, podcast said, "Hey, Manuch, would you come on and give the Clipboard Report?" You were like, "I'm in.
Let's go."
It could be some junior college, podcaster. And Manuch is there.
I'm there, man. You'd be surprised at some of the podcasts I've done for some of these young guys, whether it's San Francisco or New York or Buffalo. I love it. I love it. I mean, and the main reason why I feel like people go, well, these guys don't need to play. They need to play.
Yeah.
And
they want to play.
Well, they want to play. They want to knock the rust off because they know, Roc, if they're not playing next week, think about that. You got 4.5 weeks that you better get some real good practices in with some intensity. Not that you have to hit, but you better get some good practices in that you make sure you're sharp enough to play in that game on September 13th against the LA Chargers. I mean, nowadays, you got 4 preseason games. So you play everybody that third one. And the fourth one, I couldn't wait for that fourth one because I was getting a lot of playing time. But the thing is, you play the next week. Now, after next week's game, you don't play for 2 weeks. So if you don't play this weekend, 4.5, that's a month before you played the game.
Go to Cabo for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
well, seriously. Hey, Manuch's Clipboard Report is brought to you by our Fridays starting September 11th. We will be live at DraftKings Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale. You can drop the lock-in card. You pick 5 games. You compete for cash. What we're going to be doing is we're going to have 21 envelopes every Friday from 1 to 4. And you stop on by while supplies last. You grab an envelope, and there's cash in that envelope. That automatically gets you into our lock-in card where you will pick. We'll have 2 college, 2 pro, and then the Monday night game. And that's for another $100. That's my $100 I'm putting up each week. If I win, I'm just going to roll it over. No purchase necessary, no bet required. You just come down Friday, grab your card or envelope if they're still there. You play DraftKings Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale. So it's called Rocks Cash. Then we're also going to do a call-in challenge that will do a game of the week. So DraftKings is going to have a game of the week. They'll tell us what that game is on Friday, and at a certain time, most likely be in the 3 o'clock hour, we will call it out. You'll call in, and you'll give your lock for that game. If you get it, you'll win the $100 DraftKings gift card. So we're excited. Also, with that 2 to 3 o'clock hour, we are locked in. We will have the head coach from NAU on. We will have, in some cases, the head coach at ASU and U of A. We'll have assistant coaches, and Charlie Regal is going to be kind of quarterbacking with us for an hour each Friday from DraftKings from 2 to 3. We're calling it the Arizona Football Hour. It's going to be a lot of fun. We tap into some high school, too. I mean, obviously, Coach Regal has got a couple national state titles.
Yes,
right?
he does.
At Chaparral. So really, really looking forward. I know we've been talking about it a lot, but this is a big deal. We hope that you'll come out and join us on Fridays at DraftKings at TPC Scottsdale. All right, a guy that I used to do some radio with and a big fan of, Bill Lewis. He is going to join us next. We'll get his thoughts on this offensive line. I mean, you lose your second rounder, and now, what are you going to do? And he's going to break it down, the big men up front, as we like to call the butt guts. So we'll have him next, but here's Laz with a sports update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs kick off a 3-game weekend set at Chase Field tonight as they welcome the Cincinnati Reds to town. Eduardo Rodriguez gets the start for the Snakes as first pitch is set for 6:40 with pregame coverage getting underway at 6 on 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. And in the NFL, the Cardinals are preparing for their preseason home opener Saturday night as they welcome the Dallas Cowboys to town for their 3rd preseason game of the year. This Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B Sports Update is powered by Twin Peaks. Football season starts at Twin Peaks, so get your league together and host your fantasy football draft party at your local lodge. The commissioners will get a $50 Twin Peaks bounce back card. Cold drinks, made from scratch food, wall-to-wall TVs, and everything that you need for draft day.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
This September, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B take over DraftKings Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale for the Friday football lock-in. Think you know football? Prove it. Pick 5, take the call-in challenge, and play for cash giveaways. Real competition, real money, more ways to win. No purchase necessary, no bet required. Join Roc and Manuch Fridays from 1 to 4 at DraftKings Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale. Friday football lock-in. Only on ESPN Phoenix 620.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Is your child's face buried in their phone? Do you know what's on their screen or who's on the other end? Screen time isn't just games and videos. It can affect your child's mental health and safety. Too much screen time has been linked to anxiety and depression, and through apps, strangers can reach them, including drug dealers. Monitoring phone use helps protect your child and reduce the risk of substance use. Visit loveyourbrainaz.com. Sponsored by the Substance Awareness Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Join us for the inaugural Orangedale Lounge Golf Classic on Thursday, October 29th at McDowell Mountain Ranch. Enjoy a great day of golf, then celebrate at the hosted 19th hole at OD's. Gather your foursome and register today at orangedalelounge.com or sign up at OD's. The Orangedale Lounge Golf Classic, where the round ends, but the party is just getting started.
Life can throw a lot your way. For some, that includes first episode psychosis or FEP. It can feel overwhelming, like hearing or seeing things that aren't there, or feeling disconnected from reality. The good news? FEP can be treated. Recovery can include medication, therapy, and support from peers. There are programs across Arizona with people who understand and are ready to walk with you. It all starts with one click. Visit learnmorefep.org. Sponsored by MapForce, working to build healthier communities.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Single back, Love. Play action fake. Brissett rolling right. Pressure in his face. Stops. Throws to the back right corner of the end zone. And caught for a Cardinals touchdown. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. And the Cardinals answer on their opening possession.
All right, got some football to talk about. Bill Lewis joins us now here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B here on ESPN Radio. Bill, what's going on, man? How you doing? What's happening there, Lou?
Well, how are you guys doing?
Doing great, except Manuch during the break, he told me that he's up late at night, and all of a sudden he's trying to tell me about some YouTube video that popped up with you and this win game back in the 90s. Do you remember any win game or something?
That Buffalo Bills game in 1990 popped up, Lou, and I'm watching. It was blowing like 50 miles an hour. You're the center. Rosenbaugh's the quarterback. Johnny Johnson running back, and it showed Camarillo's punt out of the end zone into the wind.
Yeah,
and went all of 10 yards.
Yeah,
What's that?
The Pro Bowl that year. That
did it really? Oh,
I mean,
man.
When he punted that ball, it goes up in the air, and at about 30 yards downfield, it starts coming back toward our line of scrimmage. I mean, it was absolutely brutal.
So the snap was great, right? Lou, your snap was great, right?
Well, I wasn't snapping for the punt, so.
Oh, you were
quiet or snapper for the punt.
Yeah, but if you were
one of the best.
Yeah. Lou, I had to fill for you. I played that for 3 years, so I remember watching that game as well too. And matter of fact, the ball wasn't the ball moving. The referee had to make sure the ball didn't move with the wind when you were getting ready to snap a couple times.
They had to hold the ball. They had to hold the ball on the ground because it would just start blowing away.
And so how did you game manage? How did you game manage that? I mean, it was just all run the ball, that's it, or
into the wind.
Take it dunk? What were you guys doing?
Rosie. Rosie was a great anticipation thrower, but not a guy that had just a cannon for an arm. And what really shocked me about that game is I would see Rosie's passes flutter into the wind, and then Jim Kelly would come out there, and he was just throwing darts. And I asked him after the game, I said, well, what do you do to get ready to play in conditions like this? And he said that he throws wet balls all the time.
Yeah.
So the ball's heavier.
Yeah, there's no magic into that wind, Lou. I was there for 3 years. It is a challenge. Well, you guys threw. I think the only time you guys really threw, and they were talking about this, is when the wind's at your back. But Johnny Johnson, you guys ran quite a bit with the wind at your back on top of it.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know how you make those throws when the wind's blowing like that, Manuch, because whether it's with you or against you, I mean, the ball sails a lot when it's behind you. So it's a lot of bad throw potential right there.
There you go. Bill Lewis joining us here, Roc and Manuch. All right, Lou. We had you on. We talked about the draft that you were pretty high on in the Cardinals' second-round pick, Chase Besantis. Now he's out with a torn MCL and that left knee. Oh man, had to undergo surgery. What can you say about that? I mean, just he's supposed to be a major part of this offensive line in the future. And how significant is this?
Well, I think it's really unfortunate, especially for him, because watching him play in that first preseason game, he was really playing well. I mean, was not playing like a rookie. But I think when I talk about Chase, you kind of talk about the whole offensive line group and the way that they have executed so far in the preseason. I think it's been outstanding. Just the execution. You play that Hall of Fame game, and it's all backups in there. And they went out and they executed the offense. I saw very few mental errors. Occasionally somebody might get beat physically, but boy, they were executing. They were running the offense. So, LaFleur has done a phenomenal job putting his coaching staff together because they are getting coached up. They are at every position group. They look like they're getting coached up. So I've been impressed so far.
So Lou, there could be 3 new starters on that line, and
Yep.
How long does it take, 5 linemen to maybe develop, communication, the trust, all that stuff to function as one unit? How long does that take?
Well, it's difficult now because you don't have the same amount of time in camp.
Okay.
And one of the observations I'd make just from all the preseason games I've watched so far, and this, Manuch, it used to always be that the defense was way ahead of the offense when we started in the preseason games. It was always that way.
Sure.
Well, now, because of short training camp, not a lot of live reps for guys, the offense seems to be ahead for the most part. And I think that's more because in practice, they're not knocking the snot out of each other all the time. So they get to work on timing and rhythm and execution for the offense. And the defense is behind because they're just not used to getting all the physicality in. And of course they play a lot more base looks and things like that in the preseason.
So, Lou, we were talking about that specifically. Back in our day, it was usually that third preseason game that you really all hands on deck, get you ready, because most guys fourth did start, but you had a week later you had your opening season. Well, nowadays, you got the second preseason game, I would think all hands on deck, at least for a quarter and a half of the starters. And then next week, a lot of teams won't play their starters. But here's the thing. You got 2 weeks after that third one. So if you don't play tomorrow, Lou, it's 4.5 weeks until September 13th before you play the Chargers. How do you physically get ready, to your point, to have that continuity on both sides of the ball with the starters?
Yeah, I think that's really difficult. I do. I mean, it's to me, it's just not enough time together, not enough, live reps and that kind of thing. So I would be more encouraged, especially since they've got that 4th preseason game this year. If I'm the Cardinals, I'm playing my starters in this next preseason game at least through the first quarter.
Sure.
And giving them a chance. But then I got to tell you, I told you I liked the draft class that the Cardinals had. The kid that's two guys have really jumped out at me. Jaden Williams, the 7th round pick, and Reggie Virgil, the wide receiver that they drafted in the 5th round. I mean, both of these guys look like they're the real deal. Now, I was really surprised that Jaden Williams was around in the 7th round, because I watched several of Ole Miss's games over the past couple of seasons. And this kid's really versatile, really athletic, and he's already a fundamentally sound football player. And that's what I saw when he played left tackle in that first game. Now, granted, he's playing against, second, third string guys, but he really showed up to me. And then last week he moved over to the right side, and he did a nice job at right tackle. So, I could see a situation down the road where the future of the right side of the line is Santos and Williams.
Well, that kid, to your point, played at Ole Miss. I mean, he played some big boy ball on top of that. When we looked at the draft, you really liked Caleb Proctor at the time. Man, unfortunately, he hasn't had a chance to play. And everybody, until he got hurt, was the offseason. Kid out of Southeast Louisiana, you were really high on him. They loved him, and unfortunately hurt his knee prior to camp even starting.
Yeah, so what's the story with him? Is he out for the year?
Yeah, he's on the IR. Yeah, he was. I believe it was one of the OTAs or mini camps. He got hurt. So you got your number 2 and your number 4 out for the year, and obviously Carson Beck still nursing the sore ribs. In case of a Carson Beck, hopefully you think Lou he gets more reps next week, even with the the rib cage pads on and what have you.
I hope so, because he needs reps. He needs to get in there and get some more reps. And he had a solid showing that first outing. I thought he looked good. He ran the offense well. Manuch, it looked to me like he did a good job going through his progressions.
Yeah, I was very impressed with that too. Is the Sherrard kid, the kid out of Iowa, the linebacker? He was pretty active in that in both these last couple of games. What do you think about him? You watched him on tape. Was he just one of those go gadget kind of guys that's all over the place?
Well, when he was at Iowa, he was an absolute stud on special teams. I mean, he was almost unblockable. He did it all for him on special teams, and he looks to me like he's getting a pretty good feel for the defense, and making reads and then getting downhill. I like what he's doing. I mean, every one of the kids they drafted looks to me like they're going to be players.
So what does Bill Lewis look for in tomorrow night's game against the Cowboys? I kind of gave a little bit of a diatribe. We did Manuch's clipboard the last segment. I kind of broke down offense, defense, what coaches are looking for from each side of the ball. So what are you going to look for?
Well, I want to see continued continuity on offense, with the execution, with the running of the offense. LaFleur is a great play designer and play caller. I've not seen people bring wide receivers in motion inside the tight end and then have them turn up the field and block an inside linebacker. And, he does that, and then he hides guys, like he threw the ball to Wilson when Wilson had lined up on the left wing just outside the tight end, and they ran bootleg, and Wilson just snuck along behind the offensive line, was wide open, easy pitch and catch. LaFleur seems to really have a knack for, setting the quarterback up for success by not, just having him drop back and do a 7-step drop and hang onto the ball for 3 seconds and hope your line holds up. He gets the ball out quick. They get it out on time. And, most of the guys have room to operate after they catch the ball. So there's good design. There's good spacing on the routes, and good timing on the breaks. It's been fun to watch. I mean, normally I'm expecting offensive football at this time of the year to really look, rather haphazard. That's not what I'm seeing from the Cards.
Bill Lewis joining us here, Roc and Manuch. So, Lou, what are you watching, per se, when you watch a football game as a former lineman? I know Manuch is looking at the quarterback and everything he does, but for you, when you what kind of gets you excited when you watch a football game, in the sense of the piece that you know better than anybody?
Well, Roc, I've always been a guy that was a student of the game, and I kind of look at it this way. I know enough to know I don't know anything when it comes to the game of football, and I study it still. I study it all the time.
Yeah.
What I look for is I look for matchups and starting with the coaches.
Okay.
You know, what is the offensive coordinator for this team going to do versus this defensive coordinator and what he likes to do? How do your personnel stack up? How do your schemes stack up? And then I want to look at what they do out of personnel packages when they get the ball inside their own 30 to start a drive. You know, what do they, you know, that will tell you a lot about what they think about their football team and their chances. If they line up with two tight ends and come out and try and shove it down your throat, they're sending you a message they think they can. You know, that kind of thing. But, you know, down in distance situations, personnel packages, all that stuff. I look at all of those.
On top of that, Lou, and looking at certain players, obviously, that we all think that Marv Harrison's got a pop this year. The one guy you were really high on last year coming this season was Cody Simon, the weak side linebacker, the kid out of Ohio State. What does he need to do? He got banged up a little bit last year. It looked like he was out of sorts a couple times. Can he make that next step as a weak side linebacker to be that kind of kid we saw at Ohio State?
I think he can, you know, and I think it's probably better suited for him to play in a 3-4 defense. So, you know, I think that'll suit his skill set well. And, you know, Manuch, to me, that when you look at that group, there's better competition, you know, better depth of competition. And I think that's one of the things the Cards and their scouting staff and coaching staff have done a great job of. They've brought in a bunch of free agent guys, you know, that were relatively, quote unquote, no-name guys, but they're all quality football players who are adding to the depth of competition in every group. And so I look at this roster this year compared to what the Cardinals were last year. I think they're light years ahead of where they were last year.
And last but not least, if you have any information about Josh Sweat, what it is and why he's holding in, and on top of that, if he doesn't play up until the week before, can he be that productive if he doesn't play until that Chargers game some 4 weeks away?
And what is a hold in? Are you actually practicing when they're doing that? Or are they just out there on the field?
They don't even go. He's not even on the field, Lou. He's just in the building, period.
Yeah, you know, that always concerns me when guys are doing that, because these are great athletes that you're talking about. And all these guys have now had time to ramp up to game speed, and you're sitting on the sideline eating donuts. You know, not a good look. And you know, what always concerns me about guys that come in late like that is the possibility of getting injured.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
I think you increase your chances of being injured when you do those holdouts or hold-ins or whatever you want to call them.
Lou, love having you on, buddy. I mean, thanks as always. You're breaking it down like no other. So thank you, and let's continue doing this stuff. We love having you on, man. Thank you.
I'd love to. And I heard the ad for your golf tournament.
Yeah, you still a stick?
Like
What are you a 2, 3? What are you playing to right now?
Oh no, I'm probably more like an 8 or 9 right now.
Son of a.
Unfortunately.
Sandbagger Bill Lewis joining us here on the right Toyota guest line.
We'll have to get you guys all together. I know Frank Sanders is going to play. We'll get some other guys out there.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So we'll put that all together. That'd be cool. Maybe we'll get that covered. That'd be fun. So mark it on your calendar, big fella.
I will. We'll be there.
All right. You guys, Bill Lewis joining us here. Roc and Manuch, ESPN Radio will come back. Get a little rewind from today as we will bring that to you, as you will hear from Tom Candiotti. And we had him on the program in the first hour, and how that whole Marte drama unfolded right in front of him as he was in Boston earlier in the week with the team. We'll get into that next. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B here on ESPN Radio 6-1.
Football fans, it's time to draft your team and kick off another season. This year, take your fantasy football draft party to Twin Peaks. Cold drinks, made from scratch food, wall-to-wall TVs. Round up your league, grab a table, and get ready for the picks, the rivalries, and a full season of bragging rights. Start your fantasy season at Twin Peaks. Book your draft party at your local lodge today.
Rock for WhiteToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all their innovative web tools on WhiteToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at righttoyota.com.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Bigger fields, bigger events, bigger experiences. Arizona Athletic Grounds. Arizona Athletic Grounds is a 275-acre sports and entertainment destination for athletes, fans, and families. Located in Mesa, AAG is one of the largest multi-sport complexes in the country, with over 475,000 square feet indoors and more than 150 fields and courts. From tournaments to training to cheer, dance, concerts, and corporate events, the Grounds does it all. Learn more at azgrounds.com.
When a heart stops, the clock starts. You are the first responder until help arrives. In that moment, 4 minutes equals brain damage. 6 minutes equals too late in an emergency. The first responder is you. We need you. Will you be ready? Learn CPR. Visit heart.org/nation. That's heart.org/nation.
Each week, at least one child dies from heat stroke after being left alone in a car. Often these incidents are not a matter of neglect, but even the most responsible, loving parents are liable to forget a child in the car due to sleep deprivation, stress, or a change in routine, which can lead to fatal results. As temperatures continue to soar, take steps to ensure a child is never forgotten in a hot car. Learn more today by visiting carsforkids.org/hotcars. Remember, that's cars with a K.
It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
We're playing Where's Waldo. we didn't know what was going on. And, we're trying to get our lineups in and stuff. We'd already been down and talked to Torrey and you knew that his locker was undisturbed. No clothes were in there or anything like that. So none of us really knew anything at all. And I think Torrey was just kind of holding out hope that he was going to show up and stick him in the lineup, I guess. I'm not quite sure what was going on actually, but I know we couldn't get the lineups in, and then it got to the point where okay, so what's going on, and then here we are.
That's Tom Candiotti earlier on the program. Good interview. If you missed it, just if you want to hear it, you can go to the Arizona Sports app. Just download that. You'll be able to see it there. Just click on ESPN, Roc Manuch. It's right there. As we get to share with the big boys next door, as they've been busy with the Phoenix Children's Hospital.
Yes, good for them.
That is awesome. It's good stuff. It's good to see when guys over at KTR get in with the guys at Arizona Sports and they go back and forth and just raising money. I love when, you get a phone call from somebody and it just out of nowhere, it's, Derek Call, here's 25,000, whatever it is.
Then you got somebody matching that. You have
three-time matches.
Three-time matches, turn 20 grand into 60,000 or whatever. But good for those guys. Do that yearly and raise money.
A lot of work. I know they're working hard over there, so good stuff there. Of course, tonight on 98.7, D-backs and the Reds in town. As Eddie Rodriguez is on the mound, so the best pitcher on this team, and hopefully get that first one, get some momentum going into the weekend. Soroka tomorrow. So got to get 2 or 3 from Cincy.
Absolutely.
Then you got Cubs right after, and that whole place will be full of Cubs fans because they're playing some pretty good baseball. So take care of business at least these next 3 games, and then see what you can do against the Cubs.
And I don't want to jinx this, but the Reds have had a hard time scoring aside from yesterday. They lost to the Cardinals, so 10-9, came back, but their run differential is like -89. So they've lost 4 out of the last 10, 7 out of the last 9. And you think about, they go, wow, they're really struggling. So this is what an appropriate time to catch them coming here, but taking advantage of your point. You got to take advantage of this. And, it looks like Cattell's may or may not be with this team in 10 days, 20 days, whatever that is. And they just got to put their best foot forward and really rely on clutch hitting and their starting rotations that, struggled during that Boston series.
That's what's on tap, and it's sponsored each and every day here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light, the official partner of ours, with all 5 Twin Peaks locations. Twin Peaks, your ultimate sports lodge. As we'll get that fan pickup going here in a little bit, so we'll have that with Twin Peaks. So that's always a lot of fun. And we got to talk about Laz. We got to get you. I know you're gonna have a lot of time do stuff because you can't do anything because you're going to be dealing with your knee. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. So that gives you an opportunity to kind of get ready and set up our fantasy football league.
I'm on it.
Yes, please.
You're on it.
All I need to do is reactivate it. We still got it there. So I just got to reactivate, add everyone, and then we're ready to roll.
Yeah, because I had lunch with Kevin Rowe yesterday, and he's like, hey, what's the deal? So
when the top dog speaks, heads up.
I lost to him in the championship last year, so I'm getting him back this year.
It's kind of why he's kind of pretty interesting. When did we get him for winning? Anything?
I
don't even remember.
Gift basket.
I don't think we got him anything.
But bagel or two. Who knows?
We'll have to get him something, and then when he comes on the program,
he keeps track of those picks. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he does. So good stuff. Hey, thanks to Tom Candiotti and Bill Lewis and Benjamin Sievers from Park University and Scott Spreitzer for joining us. Again, if you missed anything, mention it. The Arizona Sports app. And thanks as always to Right Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Laz had a rough week, so everybody, think about Laz.
Show him some grace.
Show him some grace, yes. That's what you get for
thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers to Laz.
Thanks, guys. We're going to live. Don't you worry about me.
Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.
Get in the zone, zone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Arizona, your summer upgrade starts now during the Sanderson Ford Summer Sales Event. Get 0% financing for 36 months, 0 payments for 90 days, 0 maintenance fees for 2 years, and $1,000 towards your down payment on select Ford models. Summer won't last forever, and neither will these deals. So hurry in today and choose no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense. Choose Sanderson Ford.
Must be financed through Ford Motor Credit OAC. Not applicable on specialty models. See dealer for select vehicles that qualify. All offers expire 8/31/26.
Every student deserves choices in their education. This fall, choose the way you learn. Choose flexibility and personalized support. Choose a cutting-edge, award-winning curriculum. Choose Primavera Online, and you'll be choosing a school that's 25 years strong and can give you a high-quality online education. We're tuition-free, accredited, and now enrolling grades K to 12. Enroll at ChoosePrimavera.com. That's ChoosePrimavera.com. When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509.